MAGA comes to talk, and we'll be live on the air in about 8 minutes. I'm at the radio station today. And I was live streaming on the way up, and my Bluetooth kicked in, so I didn't have sound, and I went, and my phone was, I was getting text messages and notifications from DMs, and I'm like, what is going on at this hour of the morning? Then I got a call from Chuck, who's a moderator on my channel. He physically called, and I realized I had no sound. And the reason there was no sound is because I stopped to get gas, I turned the car on, and the Bluetooth kicked in, and for some reason the Bluetooth muted out the sound on the stream. But that's okay. I warmed up my voice, even though I was not heard by anyone but me. But I went through this very long thing, which I'm going to go through on the air this morning. Okay? I wasn't going to do this on the show, but I went through this whole thing with the mic muted, so none of you heard it. But it's important to be heard. There's no getting around that. So I'm going to do that on the air. We'll be on in about 7 minutes. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. And Bruce, welcome. Mike, Pilot Mike. Are you an actual pilot, Mike? I'm sure I've had to have asked you that before. There was a new spot Mike had me record yesterday for Storm Windows. What, are you gonna have to do it in here? Having some technical problems at the radio station.
Maybe I'll just get the first things in, so we're not. Not enough. lot of these are already 4 minutes. One's gotta be 5 unless we take something off.
Which one? In the 8 o'clock hour?
6. This hour alone. Yeah, they're all 4 minutes, and I still
Let me
have,
see the first break.
like the one after top.
Can't do, and let me see what else we got.
We got this.
I don't know why the breaks are so heavy lately.
I don't know. Miss Tina either stacks them or like puts them at all.
Yeah, no, there's nothing there. We gotta keep all that.
And that's not even with any lab or lighthouse.
Yep, we gotta have all that in there. All right, it is what it is.
Have it. But then I'll put lighthouse in. I'll put the lower one too, so at least we have. Alright, and then lighthouse. I'll put it here since it'll be the lowest one. Try to make it at least doable. Okay. Yeah. So, any lab, for the tire, lighthouse, Laporta, and then seal. Okay. Alright, then we hit the top, so.
I mean, that's a lot. I don't want to say because I don't want people to say that's a lot.
It is.
I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, 19
That
minutes
doesn't
of
include
straight
the
commercials.
lives.
Oh, yeah. Step up. We got.
It's a lot.
Holy crap.
You have to run it in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna see, because it's something updated, so I don't know if it just needs
Okay.
to be clicked. Let me see what I can do first. I might not have to.
We'll be live in just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes, guys. I'm behind on my coffee.
Test now in Boca and any test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And they're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. There's lots of new lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now at Boca or any lab test now at Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them we heard about them on the radio.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business for 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires.
Okay.
Many suppliers, whatever car or truck.
All right, here we go.
I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 9.
Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We are going live now, and man, oh man, do we have a lot to cover.
9445. Thank you.
On the air since
Here we go.
1977, it's the Steve Kane Show. Brian Craig.
All righty, it sure is, and it's coming up on 5 minutes after the hour. It is already Thursday. It's Thursday already? What happened? Where'd the week go? It's all this winning. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Next year it'll be the half century mark, and we've got a lot to cover. And the latest drop from the Justice Department through the Woodward and Bernstein of 2025, John Solomon, involves the Clintons. And we're going to go through this in just a bit in detail. But I will tell you that it's hot as heck in this radio station. That's the first thing. It's hot in here. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. I'll turn the air down during the break. This media drop on the Clintons that's happened. Obviously, President Trump is very well involved in the release of all this information, because if you look at everything that's been going on, the information has been coming out in chapters, right? It's been coming out in chapters. We got those declassifications from Tulsi. So the first chapter was Obama. I may forget a chapter as we go along because I don't have any notes. This is not a book on tape like the Glenn Beck. Any of you guys watch Glenn Beck? You know, and it's like a book on tape. He's sitting there reading a script. I saw Brian Kilmeade doing the same thing the other day. I was watching him online do his radio show. Could you imagine if I was sitting here just reading, and you know they have writers and stuff on these shows? I was reading Howard Stern has like 100 people that work on his show, including writers. What are they writing? If someone's doing a radio show and they have writers, they're a fake no talent. I'm here to tell you. But because we don't have writers and everything's off the top of my head, I may leave out one of the chapters. But the way this was released has been in textbook media fashion. And it's been released in chapters. The first chapter was the Obama coup meeting, where they reported to him, all the intelligence agencies, that there was no Russian interference. They had nothing. And Obama ordered Clapper, Comey, Bannon, and others to craft false intelligence reports saying there was actually interference, right? That was chapter 1. This week we've got some juicy chapters. And there's been some others in between, but we got some big chapters this week. A couple of days ago we had Adam Schiff, and I went through all of that, which very specifically and in a very detailed way exposed all of his lawfare and treason and very illegal activity in collusion with Mrs. Clinton. And we detailed how Hillary Clinton is the one who personally came up with a staffer of hers, the collusion there. Do you get to be in here today? Maybe not. Okay, that's okay. I don't mind. Close quarters is fine. I've been in closer quarters. So that was another chapter with Adam Schiff. Yesterday was the Comey chapter, which detailed in very great detail his crimes. And today's chapter, which I'm going to start to get into in a few minutes after the first break, involves the Clintons, who are in big trouble too. And the reason I say that President Trump is involved in all of this is because it's pretty simple. This is being released in a way that is perfect in beat format for media releases. All right? And I know there's some other things in between. I'm not going through a list of everything. I'm just showing you the brilliance that's being done here with the way they're releasing this. We know we've got this grand jury in Fort Pierce, Florida, that Pam Bondi has. And there's some secondary grand juries in other jurisdictions, but the main grand jury is in Fort Pierce, right here in Florida, in St. Lucie County, which has the most MAGA jury pool in America, out of any federal courthouse in America. And so what they're doing is they're releasing things instead of doing like a big dump. You do a big dump and no one has time to absorb anything, and it's forgotten and confusing and doesn't seem like a big deal. When you do it in this chapter format that they're doing with these daily drops, or every few days a drop with these beats, people have time to consume it in detail understand it, talk about it, spread it around, and it sinks in. And what's going on is a narrative is being crafted by Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and of course President Trump as to the entire lawfare coup against him that's been going on for over 10 years. And at some point, we may already have indictments out of these grand juries, you know. These indictments out of these grand juries are oftentimes sealed indictments, and they don't release them until they're done with the grand jury, and then they go out and round everybody up. And we very well could already have sealed indictments against some of these household names. So after the first break, I'm going to start going through the Clinton story. But there was something that was posted a few days ago by Roger Stone that I have not seen verified from any other sources. However, Roger Stone's a pretty good source, and I want to drop this out there because I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just telling you that Roger Stone dropped this 2 days ago. I did not mention it yesterday because I was trying to find some other sourcing, but Roger Stone is a close personal friend and advisor of President Trump. And he was staying at the White House for a week, maybe 2 weeks within the last month, so he could be there to advise President Trump on some things. So Roger Stone is in the know. And Roger Stone posted on, and again, I haven't seen, the only thing I've seen online about this are people either reposting or writing stories that Roger Stone said this. But I mean, I trust Roger Stone, but, you know, he doesn't have, I don't know what his accuracy rate is, but I just know that he is in the know. He's also the mentor to Laura Loomer. Roger Stone posted on X 2 days ago that Brennan has fled to Austria. Have any of you heard this? And that he said this. Roger Stone said that Brennan had fled to Austria and that MSNBC had built a makeshift studio for him to broadcast from and be interviewed from without disclosing that he's there. Now, I don't know if that's true. I know Roger Stone said that. And if anyone has any more information on that, either way, I would like to know, because if he's in Austria, that means he's afraid that those no-knock warrants are going to be served, that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. But Roger Stone is a credible source, but it doesn't mean he's 100% accurate like Loomer. So if anyone has heard anything about that, let me know. Are we good to go? You're going to be in here? Okay. All right. So Mike and I are going to be, Mike the board, we're going to be in close quarters today because all the computers are down except the one in the studio where I'm at. So that's okay. But let me see. Which one is for that one? Okay. We have so many. There's 1, 2, 3. We have 3, I get mice. I guess you call them mice. 3 mouses, 3 mice. They're all the same color. And it's hard to tell them apart. We're going to definitely have to turn the air way down because the body heat, it's hot already. It's a sauna. But with the 2 of us in here, holy smokes. Holy smokes. There's some guys I've worked with at radio stations that would get all excited at the sweating. But that's not going to be Mike and myself, I promise you. All right, we're going to take our break. When we get back, I'm going to get into the latest drop from John Solomon on the Clintons, all right? Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Okay.
Funny enough, it seems like it's this computer that's causing the problem for the other computers.
Probably everything needs to be rebooted.
Well, I rebooted Mike's, and it didn't do anything. I think this computer itself needs to be rebooted.
Well, do you want to reboot it when I get back? Or not?
I'll wait.
You want to talk to the show?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care. It's up to you. I don't care.
He did say that he'll, if he figures something out that could be possible, then he'll let me know.
I don't mind. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's not like crazy. It just sounds like, what the heck is going on? Because it's the first time. It's like it should not be doing that. It's like, why is it? You know?
What'd they do? They updated the software?
It looks like they updated the app we use.
I hate doing updates.
Yeah, because it causes stuff like that.
Well, probably, a lot of times you got to update, like, Windows or whatever you use, and
I know they force you to update because they start like making things slow, right?
yeah. I hate doing updates.
This hour's perfect. It's not all crazy. I love how totally different the 2 hours are.
Well, that's why there's no lives on the log this hour.
True, I didn't even think about that. Prime time, White House seal. That's 3 minutes, okay.
Bruce says possible hurricane coming to Florida?
Yeah, I heard.
Until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center.
Everything should be set for next hour. I'll dive probably next week. Some water.
We don't have that partnership with the TV station anymore, do we? Do you know?
No. Even the WPTV?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Because they used to just do our weather, but now we have that in a different place.
The reason I ask is they get pissed if you mention other TV stations.
No, I'm like 99% sure we're in this. Because I haven't heard them in a while. So we're pretty sure we're good.
Comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces will make your mouth water. Queens Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Garrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world. True oldies.
All right, we're back 18 minutes after the hour. Okay, so John Solomon, his latest release, he's really amazing. One day we're going to know who's feeding him the information. It's somebody from the Justice Department, or the White House. But his reporting has been on this entire thing, right? With the coup, all this, everything he has reported so far has been 100% accurate. And I like him. I remember him from a long time ago when he was with the Washington Times, and we've had him on the show. I don't remember what about. It's been a long time. We don't have guests on too much anymore. We used to do guests a lot, but we don't do guests so much anymore. But we had him on a few times. I just don't remember what we talked to him about. But he was with the Washington Times then, I'm pretty sure, and that's a conservative Republican newspaper in Washington, D.C., So, and he's always been known as a credible person, but this is history in the making. I mean, this is Watergate times infinity that's going on. So let me just go through this, and then we'll talk about it as we go. This is him from Real America's Voice, John Solomon from Just the News, and he's going over the latest drop, which is about the Clintons.
Tonight, we're going to tell you about the other Clinton investigation, one that was running in 3 separate FBI offices, New York, Washington, and Little Rock. It was a predicated criminal investigation that was examining whether Hillary Clinton ran a pay-to-play scheme that delivered favors from her perch as Secretary of State while foreigners and others paid large sums of money to her family foundation.
Yeah, and this is what we found out about was that the Clinton Foundation was a big money laundering operation. And we've talked about this for years, but now we find out there was an FBI investigation about it, and that's what the latest drop is about. And coming up, after we get through this, I'm going to share some things with you that just blew my mind when I found out. And I talked about this on my podcast. I don't think I talked about it on the radio show, but involving Tucker Carlson's dad and the Clintons. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. And it was, when I saw this about a week or two ago, it blew my freaking mind. But I want to get through this first. And I mentioned this to a caller yesterday. When Bill Clinton left office and they started the Clinton Foundation, and it really heated up when Hillary became Secretary of State, Bill Clinton was giving speeches and being paid just crazy amounts of money for these speeches. And as they went on, the speaking engagements paid more and more money. They started out around $250,000 a speech, and he would talk for 20 to 30 minutes. And I remember Rush used to talk about this. What is this guy saying that's worth $250,000 for 20 minutes? I mean, yeah, it's a good question. I'd like to know, because I'll say it and they can pay me half, right? And what we came to find out is that's how they got, some of them, and those were the early days. And as they went on, they got close to like $1 million. Because what happens to criminals, they do a little test, and when they get away with it, they increase what they're doing. And then when it all became obvious with the uranium scandal, where doing it through a fake front company in Canada, Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, signed off on an agreement that gave Vladimir Putin control of 20% of the uranium deposits in the United States. Remember, uranium is what you need. That's why we bombed Iran. You need uranium to weaponize nuclear weapons. So there are Russian missiles in their silos on submarines aimed towards American cities that are weaponized with American uranium that Hillary Clinton gave them. Right? I mean, these are some really bad people, the Clintons. And what we have found out through all this lawfare stuff that John Solomon has been bringing up over the last couple of weeks is that Hillary Clinton's campaign, we got the details of it. We know that we've known for a long time that Hillary Clinton's campaign came up with the Russia collusion scam, but now we have specifics. There was a particular lady who's been named in all these stories who had the idea. She went to Hillary Clinton. Everything's recorded through emails. They have everything in writing. This is why she got out it's hard for me to say this, the bleach bit and the hammers and everything, because she did everything on emails. That's why she had their own servers and everything. But they got all the emails, and Hillary and her are talking about what a great idea this Russia hoax is. And she is the mother of the Russia hoax, Hillary Clinton. We found out earlier this week that Hillary Clinton was bribing Adam Schiff to do these illegal leaks with the promise of becoming the CIA director, right? Remember, we were talking about this week. So Hillary Clinton is behind all of it. And Hillary Clinton, good chance she's going to go to jail, okay? And this new business that's coming out about these multiple FBI investigations are about the Clinton Foundation money laundering operation, which really is how they were bribed. The Clintons were taking bribes, Hillary in particular, because Bill was out of office. He could peddle influence, but she was a senator, then she's Secretary of State. So she was actually taking bribes through the Clinton Foundation.
Foundation run by Bill Clinton, their daughter eventually Chelsea Clinton. Three separate agencies, three separate bureaus, offices of the FBI believe they had predicated evidence to pursue that. Every time they tried to move the ball down the road in the shadows of the 2016 election, they got shut down. I mean, they got shut down at the highest levels of their agency.
Okay, so now this is an interesting thing. So there, at the time, there were people inside the FBI at different offices around the country who are like, these people are crooks. They're taking bribes. They're committing treason. They're giving uranium to Putin. But they were getting shut down. They were getting shut down because Comey and the rest were trying to make her the president. And remember, Obama and that whole crew wanted her to be president so bad, they passed over Biden. He was the vice president. He got skipped over for the nomination that time, remember?
Andrew McCabe, the deputy director, a man who potentially had a conflict of interest with Hillary Clinton. So his wife got money from Hillary Clinton's former campaign chair to run for a Virginia State Senate. And by the way, McCabe attended the meeting where that assistance was solicited. He eventually was conflicted out, but not before he gave the order to his agents that you won't investigate or do anything on this unless I approve it.
Okay, now McCabe, wasn't McCabe the guy that President Trump fired like a couple days before he got his pension? Right, Andrew McCabe? Okay, so, I mean, it's all coming together. The entire coup conspiracy that is ongoing even to this day was going full steam ahead as we were going into the election.
Downstream from them, four different U.S. attorneys' offices under Barack Obama were asked for help by the agents. Agents need help. We need a grand jury. We need to get evidence. We want to move the case down the road. All three of those four offices told the agents, you're on your own. We will not assist you in your pursuit of criminal charges against Hillary Clinton. And then perhaps the most extraordinary statement in the document that we are going to show you on screen now, they can put it up as you're looking here, the Deputy Attorney General for Barack Obama, Sally Yates, explicitly told the FBI, shut it down, meaning...
Okay, now this is amazing. Sally Yates, that's a name I'd forgotten about. See, we're getting a lot of names that you haven't thought about in a while. And here's Sally Yates covering for Mrs. Clinton. She was probably being promised she'd be Attorney General or something by Hillary Clinton.
Attorney General for Barack Obama, Sally Yates, explicitly told the FBI, shut it down, meaning the corruption probes of Hillary Clinton. Think about this. While Donald Trump was out on the campaign trail chanting, lock her up, maybe there was a good reason to lock up Hillary Clinton, he would argue every night. The Obama Justice Department was telling the FBI agents who also thought there might be a reason to lock up Hillary Clinton, shut it down. Remember those words. We have a lot more up for you in a second. We're going to bring in Senator Ron Johnson, somebody who's been...
Okay, so, that's John Solomon from Just the News. And I have an article that gives a lot of detail, which I may go through because this is a big deal. This is everything that's been going on against President Trump, and it's all coming together. And for all of these panicans, nothing's going to happen. No one's going to go to jail. It's happening, all right? It's happening right now as we speak. All right, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Okay.
Back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
From the Kalea Pain Relief Weather Center, the only pain relief cream that blocks pain and reduces inflammation within 3 minutes or less. Here's your Oldies forecast.
Today in the Palm Beaches will be sunny with a chance of thunderstorms, 7 degrees on Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 82 degrees.
Weather brought to you by Kalea Pain Relief Cream. Is pain robbing you of your quality of life? If you answered yes, you have to try Kalea Pain Relief. Kalea Pain Relief Cream relieves arthritis, joint, and muscle pain better than anything you've ever tried. Kalea, get back to doing what you love. Now available in your local public supermarket in the pharmacy section. And now,
I don't know. That one looks like it's going up to me. I hope.
It keeps like doing the cha-cha slide.
Yeah.
Most of it was just going up, but it like took a slight west turn.
Mhm. Let me find the European model.
Yeah, that's the one I saw that was going up.
Yeah.
Saratoga Racing now through September 1st. The package brings you 140 plus HD TVs, giant screens, mouthwatering food, a full bar, and service that makes you feel like a winner. Go to tvkennelclub.com for more fun.
My name is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. Over the years, I've treated thousands and thousands of patients from bursitis, tendonitis, sciatica, stenosis, neuropathy, tears, post-surgery, pre-surgery, herniated disc, gout, bone on bone. If you can name the pain, most likely I've treated it over the years. Most of my practice is laser with robotic.
Is the commercial of Dr. Appleton with the car accidents in the mix too? Have you heard that one?
Most lasers do
Okay.
not do that. So
He had asked me about that yesterday.
consultation at
Like
over
99% sure.
All right. Yeah, let's listen for it today because he'd asked me about it. I didn't know.
It's with you, right?
No, it's him.
For me to look at, I would do that free of charge.
Only because I always hear you talk about it.
I may do the phone number,
That's what I'm probably thinking.
but it's recorded with him. I can't remember if I did the phone number on that one or not. It might be him, but I might do the number. I can't remember.
Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel
Definitely
every
will see
day
him next
about how
hour
we can
for
help
sure.
you and your family. Now here's
Nobody
one of our
wants an hour.
listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account, savings, and a house and a car from my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there,
Yeah.
and they sat with me, and we went over everything. And I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And
I can picture it in my mind.
What's that?
I can hear it in my mind. I'm just trying.
I've heard it before, but I just didn't know if it was running now. And I can't remember if I'm in that one or not. I can't remember.
Helped me assure that my two daughters
It's kind of new. It's just a couple weeks old.
in the event that I will be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years of the air.
All right, we're back. I was looking at that tropical storm. They're saying it's going to be a hurricane. It's not a hurricane yet, right? No, the Aaron. And I looked at the models, and it looks like it's going up, but that does not mean we are not going to get rain in Florida or even tropical storms. Who knows? Hopefully we get nothing. But if you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, call Tom Laporta. You don't want to mess around. And I just give you guys a heads up. Always look for the European model with the hurricanes, okay? The local news, and I'm not picking on anyone in particular, but their highest ratings and the lowest in the local news comes with the weather. And they always give you the doom and gloom models. But the European model, it's like that guy, Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel. It knows exactly where the hurricane's going. But just because it's not going to hit Florida, and we don't know if this one is or not, doesn't mean we're not going to get bad weather. But if you got a wet spot on your ceiling, give Tom Laporta a call. And write down this number and put it on your refrigerator, because if we do get hit by a storm, and the hurricane season is just starting now with this. This is our first one really that's been on the radar for us to pay attention to. If you do get hit by bad weather and you've got damage, call Tom Laporta. We'll call your insurance company, but call Tom Laporta right away. You know, he's got those blue tarps and everything else to get you all set. While everything's happening. Not his cell phone number, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaRoofing.com. Okay, so obviously what we're finding out is the Clintons, Hillary in particular, hardcore deep state and everything else. And something came up about a week and a half ago involving Tucker Carlson and the Clintons. And one thing I learned this many years ago. Most of the people, we were talking a little bit about this yesterday on the show, most of the people that are national media figures or in the government, they are almost all of them very connected, right? Like we were talking yesterday about, what's her, I always forget her name, the idiot on MSNBC that worked for John McCain. You guys know who I'm talking about, that her husband's the New York Times reporter that was working with Comey on the classified intel theft and all that treason that was going on. Nicole Wallace. Nicole Wallace's husband is the Pulitzer Prize winning New York Times reporter that Comey was giving illegally the classified intel to. But they all have different last names. They get married, they don't change their names. And sometimes they change their names, but their public persona is a different name, so you don't know how incestuous it all is. And Tucker Carlson, now if you remember, this Tucker Carlson Clinton connection, which I'm going to share with you in a moment, just blew my mind. So when Tucker interviewed Putin, Putin says, oh, you tried to join the CIA, but they didn't take you. Remember that? And Tucker seemed a bit taken aback by that, you know, and Putin put that out there because he wanted Tucker to know that he had done a background check. Well, about 2 weeks ago, Tucker Carlson sat down with America's leading anti-Semite, Candace Owens, and interviewed her, and he dropped something that I've never heard him say before, and that is that his father was in the CIA. And his father had a lot of jobs in government, and he worked on political campaigns. And one of the jobs he had, he for a long time in the 80s and in the 90s, Tucker Carlson's dad had the job that Carrie Lake has. He ran Voice of America. But back then, Voice of America was a big deal. It's how they were spreading CIA propaganda into Eastern Europe and everything before the Soviet Union fell. So Tucker Carlson, he's talking to Candace Owens about Nick Fuentes and some stuff. But he talks about his dad being in the CIA. Now listen to this.
Native talent. And he's attacking my dad as the CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. And my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, you know, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So,
well, first off, yeah, so he's confirming his dad was in the CIA. So far as this totally shocked by it, that's BS. Why do you think he applied and tried to get in the CIA, right? Because he wanted to be like his dad. So anyway, so we now know Tucker Carlson's dad was in the CIA, and Tucker Carlson probably is too, let's face it. But I came across something about a week ago that I don't think I played on the show. I did. No, hold on. I hit the wrong button. Let me play this again with Tucker, and then I'll cue up the thing with his dad. This is Tucker.
And he's attacking my dad as the CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. And my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, you know, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
This was in March of this year.
Okay, so he claims in March of this year he found out his dad was in the CIA, and he started to give more detail about it, but Candace Owens interrupted him because, well, there was a conversation happening that wasn't about her, and she just can't let that happen. But that was a big confession that his dad was in the CIA. So then, last week, I came across an interview, let me see, does it tell me what year? I don't know what year this is, but it is quite a few many years ago. It's Tucker Carlson's dad, whose name is Richard Carlson, and he was, at the time of this interview, he was with a CIA front group known as the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He was the vice chairman of it, and he was being interviewed by Brian Lamb on C-SPAN. You guys remember Brian Lamb? He's long dead. That's how long ago this was, and he was the founder of C-SPAN. And this was after the Clintons, right? And Tucker Carlson's dad dropped something huge about his connection to the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Wilson is a friend of Scooter's. I've been a friend of Scooter's for years.
Now Scooter is Scooter Libby, who was the chief of staff for Dick Cheney when he was vice president. And if you remember, he got himself into a perjury trap and did a little bit of time, Scooter Libby. So a very connected person. And of course, Tucker Carlson's dad here, as he's speaking to Brian Lamb, is in the CIA, according to his own son, Tucker, right?
Wilson is a friend of Scooter's. I've been a friend of Scooter's for years. Scooter Libby is a person in my view of great integrity and character. He was my lawyer at one time before he went into the government. He was, he and Leonard Garment were partners in a law firm, Deckard, Price and Rhodes.
Former counsel to Richard Nixon,
Yeah.
Leonard Garment.
Yes, Leonard, a great guy in my view. And
Now I got to tell you, Tucker Carlson's dad is a big guy. I mean, he is. He has the mannerisms of Tucker, but he's very obese. I'm a little surprised, but he does have the same mannerisms.
Good friend of mine, and that's how I met Scooter, through Leonard. Actually, Scooter represented me. This is interesting. I've never mentioned this because nobody ever asked me, but I represented Monica Lewinsky in her book deals. I was her book agent, and I sold the book, my storybook. Anyway, I did. I did a couple of other things for her, having to do with representing her. Not a press representation, I stayed out of the press, but sort of quasi-legal representation. And when I drew up the contract with Monica, it was Scooter Libby who drew it up for me.
Okay, so, I know you guys are wondering, why am I talking about Monica Lewinsky today? I understand. Just give me a second, and all will be revealed. So the reason he was working behind the scenes is because he's in the CIA. And when I saw this interview last week, everything, people don't remember the Lewinsky scandal in its proper context. It was the biggest scandal that I've ever seen in my life. And it completely paralyzed Bill Clinton's presidency. He did not have a press conference for 2 years. They didn't even have a White House press briefing. And I remember Mike McCurry was his press secretary, and he did not have even the press secretary wasn't doing the daily briefings because they were afraid of taking questions about Lewinsky. It was such a big deal. And Mike McCurry announced he was having a press conference. It was as widely attended as Trump's was the other day when Trump said he's never seen so many people in there because it was the first one in about a year and a half. And it was over some minor thing like renaming a post office or something. And I remember Mike McCurry, he came out, it was some minor thing like renaming a post office. And then he made a joke about it. He says, to our local stations, we're now returning to our regularly scheduled programming. And then he walked away. So now we know that a CIA agent was handling Monica Lewinsky, and I thought she was a honeypot, right? Monica Lewinsky was a honeypot, and he even detailed a little bit. Her family are very connected to the Democrats. They set Bill Clinton up with Monica Lewinsky to get control of them. So the reason I'm bringing all this up now and how it's connected, not just because Hillary is behind the Russiagate coup, it's because the deep state, what they did to the Clintons is what they tried to do with President Trump, right? For whatever reason, they wanted to get control of the Clintons. They had Tucker Carlson's dad here, who obviously is Monica Lewinsky's CIA handler. I mean, he's all but confessed. Now, at the time of this interview, no one knew he was in the CIA. He was just some guy in Washington with the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and Voice of America, but he really was a CIA. So he is Monica Lewinsky's CIA handler. They got him in a sex scandal like they tried to do with President Trump with the fake Russian dossier, and the Clintons played ball, and now they're deep state. Donald Trump said, get out of here, and he fired Comey for it. So what they did to President Trump is not the first time they've done this. They did it as recently as with the Clintons, and who knows how many other times. And the reason they had these meltdowns throughout, that keep coming out with all of these drops from Tulsi and Kash Patel and John Solomon and all this, is because they couldn't get control of it. They never had this happen before. They thought that Donald Trump is this billionaire New York playboy. He's probably got some island in the Bahamas with a bunch of Victoria's Secret models that he goes over there with and hooks up with and all that. We'll be able to find something on this guy. And they couldn't, and they couldn't find anything to get control of him. And believe me, they investigated everything. But they did with Bill Clinton. And ever since then, the Clintons have been in bed with the deep state. They flipped them, they got them, they compromised them, and with Tucker Carlson's CIA Monica Lewinsky handler dad. And that's why you can never really fully trust Tucker. I mean, Tucker Carlson, you know, everybody likes him. He says nice stuff and all this stuff, you know. But you can't trust him when you put all these pieces together. All right, we'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
Cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you know trust and experience are two big qualities to look for. And as it turns out, my friend Jupiter Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to jupiterjoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement No Law. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com.
Remember the feeling you got the first time you saw the King of Rock?
Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are. And he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
Fine, gentlemen. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we wrote all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
We take on the social justice warriors for...
All right, we're back 49 minutes after the hour. So let's get into the details of the updates. I thought that was interesting, and you always got to keep your eye on Tucker. Okay, so this is in the Gateway Pundit from the latest release of what's going on. Newly declassified top secret emails show Clapper push to compromise normal procedures and demand intelligence communities fall in line behind Russia hoax. See, every day there's something else coming out. All these files existed. And, you know, a lot of people, I hear this all the time. Well, why didn't Trump release this in the first? Because they were hidden inside the FBI. Now Trump has two guys that he trusts, Kash Patel and Bongino, in the FBI. Okay, the people that were in the FBI before were Comey's holdovers. They didn't even know these things existed, and even if they did, they never would have found them. They were in burn bags and in safes, special classified safes. So, Gateway Pundit, newly declassified emails from December 22nd, 2016 showed former DNI James Clapper, and this story that Tulsi dropped last week. See, Clapper always seems to be an incompetent boob to me, right? Doesn't he to you guys? Remember when he was the director of national intelligence? He was just a strange guy, and now we know why they keep him around, because he's a crook who will do, I mean, he crafted, Tulsi Gabbard said last week that James Clapper was one of the authors of the fake intelligence reports about WMDs in Iraq. And how many people are dead because of that, right? You know, so they know James Clapper will forge documents and government intelligence reports. He doesn't care. He's probably the richest guy that's ever worked for the government. He's had to gotten something out of this. But anyway, newly declassified emails from December 22nd, 2016 show former DNI James Clapper pushed to compromise normal procedures to rush the 2017 report on the Russia hoax. It was recently reported that Comey, Brennan, and Clapper worked together to corrupt the Trump-Russia investigation in 2016 before Trump entered office. See, one of the things they were doing, and think, I want you guys to think about this. Remember I was telling you how everybody's connected? That's not an exaggeration. Just to give you an idea of how everyone's connected, I meant to mention this in the last segment. This is scary. Mike Pence's chief of staff, his wife worked for Peter Strzok. Okay, so keep on. So Mike Pence's chief of staff, who's a jerk, I've seen him on television many times, his wife worked for Peter Strzok. Okay, so just remember that as this goes on. The newly declassified emails revealed Clapper directed officials to compromise normal procedures despite pushback from the then National Security Advisor Mike Rogers. Tulsi Gabbard declassified the emails, made them public on Wednesday. Okay, see, what they were doing is they had a limited amount of time before they were all out of office. So they were doing all these things to get it. They knew they had Comey was, you know, the FBI director has a 10-year term when they're appointed. Now, obviously, they're there at the discretion of the president and can be fired, like Trump did with Comey, but they have 10-year terms. So they were desperate to get something going. FISA warrants, get an investigation going while Obama was still around, and keep it running when Trump was in office. And their goal was to get him impeached, either removed from office or resign, and make Mike Pence, who's chief of staff, works for Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok, his name comes up with everything, doesn't it? It's as big as the web is, Peter Strzok's name certainly comes up a lot, and that's why he's probably deleted all of his tweets forever. Interesting, he didn't delete his whole Twitter. He just deleted his tweets, and everyone says deleted. I didn't hear anybody say he made them private. But their plan was to get Trump impeached or to resign and make Mike Pence the president. That was the whole thing. It's only a matter of time before some dirt comes out on Pence. I'm surprised it hasn't already, but that might be one of these chapters that we get from John Solomon, because Pence was involved in all of this. And when he tipped his hand is when he got Mike Flynn fired. All right, so anyway, back to this, because we're coming up to the top. I want to finish up with this. Tulsi Gabbard tweeted, newly declassified top secret emails sent on December 20th. This is Tulsi Gabbard, and she's put all the documents on her X. Newly declassified top secret emails sent on December 22nd, 2016, complying with President Obama's order to create a manufactured intelligence report about Russia, expose how Clapper demanded the intelligence community fall in line behind the Russia hoax. So, you know, this version we see of Clapper when he's always a little out of it, that might be an act. James Clapper demanded the intelligence community fall in line behind the Russia hoax. Clapper admits it was a team sport that required compromise on our normal modalities. And the documents not only exist, Tulsi Gabbard, with all these other documents that have been declassified, she has posted them all on her X. This is phenomenal, what's going on here. And that's why the media, you know, I was talking to Steve yesterday after the show, and he said if you watch MSNBC, which I don't, I really don't watch TV. At least not for the news. It's too the TV news is too slow for me, and I can't watch these people on MSNBC. I just don't have the patience for that. But he said all they talk about is Jeffrey Epstein all day and all night. It's like all they're like they're trying to manifest a dialogue going on about Epstein. If Epstein's dead for years now, his sicko pedo ring has been out of commission for even longer than that. If this was an active pedo ring that was going on, it'd be another deal, okay? But this is old news. We know what they're doing. It's a misdirection. And they feel like if they can call someone a pedo or something, that's so horrific that boom, And if you go through the entire lawfare against Trump, it's always that what they're always trying to do is turn Trump supporters against him, and they always think, okay, when this comes out, they'll turn against him, and I'll tell you, we're talking about Tucker with this. Who was it at Turning Point USA that was the first one to mention Epstein? Because at Turning Point USA in Tampa is when it exploded. Does anyone know who the first person to bring it up was? Was it Charlie Kirk, who's all over CNBC and stuff now? Was it Tucker? Which one of them was the first one to get the crowd riled up about it? I'd like to know. I'm not 100% sure. But at that Turning Point, they got it going. It blew up. A lot of these Trump-supporting, self-important influencers started obsessing over Epstein, and they've been trying to get a dialogue going about it. And they tell themselves, well, these MAGA crazies, they're obsessed with Epstein. Once they hear Trump's name connected to it, even if we have no documents and we just say it over and over again, that'll freak them out, and they'll turn against him. That's why they keep doing that. But no one cares about that. It's old news. Trump has no connections to it. And they haven't been able to get that dialogue going except amongst themselves. And the reason they're trying to get that dialogue going starting a few weeks back is because they knew all these things that we're getting every day from John Solomon. They knew this was coming because some of them may have testified in these grand juries. These grand juries are secret. Some of them may have testified in the grand juries. They're friends. They still have friends and contacts inside the government agencies that are tipping them off as to what's going on. And they brought this Epstein into play as an attempt to get a diversion going away from their crimes that were about to be exposed. And that is just not going to happen. Now, I want to ask you, do you or someone you know have neuropathy? I was talking to Steve yesterday, and a caller called in and actually backed me up on this. I had one of my great-grandmothers, she was always falling down. She was tripping and falling down all the time. Now, that was in the 70s, and now knowing what I know, she probably had neuropathy. And then we got a call from a guy who works in, I guess, something to do with seniors. I can't remember what he said, but he said, yeah, the number one reason that old people fall down and break things all the time is they have neuropathy. Well, yeah. So go see Lighthouse Medical Center and get an examination. You may have neuropathy and not even know it. Let them examine you and find out if you have it, and then have them treat you. And if you know you have neuropathy, you need to get over there right now. I'm going to give you the number. When you call, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, because then you get to take advantage of the no-charge consultation. And remember, they rid Steve of all of his neuropathy symptoms, okay? And not only that, it's been 3 years, and they have not returned. 3 years later, the symptoms have not returned. So they have a treatment for neuropathy that works, and obviously it lasts. Here's their number, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642, and online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Now, I just looked during the break, and I did not turn the phones on. So I thought I checked them, but I didn't get any coffee this morning until I got here to the radio station, so my mind's not at full power today. But I just turned the phones on a minute ago, so if you were trying to call in, you're welcome to do that now. We're going to take our break for the top. Our number is 888-465-2631, and it looks like Pence is up to his eyeballs in this coup. I can't wait for him to get named. We'll be back right after this.
WFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLL 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach Shores, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. We are South Florida's home for the True Oldies channel. From the Kalea Pain Relief Weather Center, the only pain relief cream that relieves pain and reduces inflammation within 3 minutes or less. Here's your oldies forecast.
You know, I just wasn't awake. I had to change the number, so, and I checked the number, but then I didn't forward it. I didn't hit save to forward it.
Brought to you by Kalea Pain Relief Cream. Is pain robbing you of your quality of life? If you answered yes, you have to try Kalea Pain Relief. Kalea Pain Relief Cream relieves arthritis, joint, and muscle pain better than anything you've ever tried. Kalea. Get back to doing what you love. Now available in your local public supermarket in the pharmacy section. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
I don't understand how that happened. Okay.
Traffic, a service
Just
of
not
the
being
Palm Beach
awake.
Kennel Club. Join us this Sunday for
I've done it
Sports
before.
Garden
I'll do it again.
Show from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The best one-day show in all of South Florida with great vendors, free admission, full bar, great food, and all the games on our sports TVs. While you're here, try your hand at some poker and table games. Bet on the top horse tracks and the country at our OTB and get some exceptional eats in the Paddock Restaurant. For more info and more fun,
What?
go to bbkennelclub.com.
Oh yeah, the one with the car accident. I haven't heard it yet.
Prices at Friendly Tire in Market on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Oh my gosh, that was quick. All right, we're back. That's not the first time I haven't turned the phones on. It's one of many times, but, you know, at least I found out and I wasn't halfway through the show, which I've done before. So anyway, that is the latest with all of that. And I got to tell you, it's it could not be, we could not be in a better position, really. Okay? I mean, the position we're in right now with draining the swamp is amazing. You know, in the this is guys, the swamp draining is at a level we never imagined. When President Trump in the first campaign was talking about draining the swamp, he was talking about something else entirely. He was mostly talking about the Clinton financial crimes and Benghazi and stuff like that. But we are at another completely total level than we've ever been before. Now, I want to get into the D.C. crime that's been going on, okay? This is insane to me. I'm watching the coverage online, and they continue to talk about the fake crime stats. They continue to say crime is down. And I mean, the stupidity of that, you know, the goal when it comes to crime is to have zero crime. And, you know, DC has one of the highest murder rates in the country and even a higher murder rate than some of the most violent countries in the world. And there was a list I had this morning. Let me see if I pull this up. And then I got some interviews with residents, which they really don't want to be doing. They don't want you to hear the actual residents. They want you to hear the pundits tell you. But the goal for crime is to be at zero. And what they're at in D.C. is still a very high crime rate. They're out there telling you that there's so many murders and assaults and robberies and stuff that they are to put up with, and they should be happy because there aren't as many as there were last year, according to the cookbook statistics. It's really an absurdity. And, you know, Washington, D.C., the residents that actually live there, not the government people, the people that actually live there, it is what they call one of those minority cities. It's I don't know what the breakdown is racially, but it's got to be 70+% African American, right? Is it not? You know? And typically with liberals, they have no problem with black people being victimized. You know, if this were, remember the meltdown when Ron DeSantis flew those illegals, like 50 of them, to Martha's Vineyard? How can you have these people here and all this stuff? Yeah. You know, if they had a crime rate half of what the current real crime rate is in D.C. and Martha's Vineyard, it'd be over yesterday. But Democrats don't care about black people. There's no doubt about it. Now, Mike Lindell, he has Lindell TV, and they sent a reporter out to interview people on the streets out in D.C., and they're out around the National Mall area, and surprisingly, they interviewed somebody in a tourist area that happens to be a resident, okay? And she's black, which is important for the context of the story. Listen, this is from Lindell TV yesterday.
Are you from the area of D.C.? Are you a tourist? Born and raised. You're born and raised in D.C. Are you here just, are you working in the area or just tourists right now?
Not far from here.
Where do you don't have to tell me, but where do you work?
I work at a law firm.
So you're an attorney?
No.
Now she's embarrassed her because she's a secretary or something. That's okay.
Oh, cool. So what are your thoughts of, today we're talking about D.C. crime rates. Is it safe to live in D.C.? Do you agree with President Trump federalizing fees to sort of stamp down on crime? What are your thoughts?
I agree with it. I was born and raised in the district, and I've never seen the things that I see today with children as young as 3 years old being shot. I mean, where does that happen? I think it's a bad idea to fear what this president is doing. I mean, he actually lives in the city now. I mean, come on. He would be foolish, I think, to ignore things like that. A child 3 years old being shot, or people being shot on the bus. I mean, that happened in upper northwest Washington, D.C.
And that's the one, I think, unless they have a lot of bus shootings, that's the one Judge Janine's been talking about, where the guy, it was a kid, a teenager, and he got a slap on the wrist from a liberal judge. And, you know, the juveniles oftentimes are out doing crime or recruited by older criminals because they know, because they're juveniles, there's only a limit to what'll happen to them, that they can get away with a lot more if they're under 18.
So, I mean, yeah, I think
I go in upper northwest and areas because it's hard finding actual DC residents here in this area. It's mostly like bureaucrats and whatnot. It's not the real DC people. Do they generally support this? Do they feel like they want crime to be under control, or are they against it?
I do. I believe that most people that live here, that work hard every day.
Exactly.
Families, they want the crime rate to be brought under control.
Yeah. See, and I was watching Victor Davis Hanson, and he actually he explained it in a different way that I thought was pretty good, and why there's this really irrational meltdown of the left about President Trump ending this crime wave in D.C. And he said, and this is what Victor Davis Hanson said, and Victor Davis Hanson's probably one of the smartest conservative minds in America today. And he said Trump is leading a successful counter-revolution, and it's the most successful counter-revolution, he said, in the country since he considers Roosevelt a counter-revolution. And and it is a counter-revolution because we have been controlled by these bureaucrats that don't represent us or care about us. That's part of it. But in the blue cities, you look at Chicago is the one we always look at, and what they're trying to bring back to New York was Zohan, and what's been going on in D.C. for as long as anyone can remember, and Los Angeles and a few others. In these blue cities, which are majority minority cities of the regular population in D.C. and in these other cities, they are 100% victims of crime all the time, and no one does anything about it, right? No one does anything about it. And Trump's the first one to do something about it. And the reality of the situation is Democrats, they got a couple of things going on with black Americans. One, they always like to keep black Americans under control. They had a real good con job operation going where they could keep them under control and still vote for them, right? And they didn't feel and they would go out and tell them they're victims, they're this, they're that, there's this problem, if we can only get gun control, and if we have stronger gun control, and it's not your fault, it's not the community's fault, it's because they don't have gun control in these cities, and they're bringing them in, and they never have done anything for them. But what's happened lately is blacks have left the Democrat Party. They're no longer a reliable voting bloc. And President Trump, in the last election, won more black votes than any Republican since Eisenhower, okay? So what the Democrats have done is they're done with black people. They don't care about them anymore. They're disloyal, right? Now they were trying to, fix that by bringing in illegals and have a new victim group, but they just don't care about black people anymore. And not only do they not care, the Democrats, about black people, they're pissed off at blacks and feel betrayed by blacks, that after everything they've done for them, that they've turned against them and have become MAGA. And they're fed up and done, without question, with black people. And you see it each and every day with what's going on. And, the media, see, the thing about the media, okay? The national media are based out of New York and D.C. And I'm playing this man on the street thing from Lindell TV, and I've had a couple of people that I've played on the air that have made videos and posted them up online of themselves on TikTok or something. But you have not seen any of the Washington media and the whole press corps there go out in the streets and talk to residents on how they feel about what's going on in the city. Either way. Now, there was yesterday. You may have seen this in the news. This guy that threw the sub from Subway at some of the federal officers, some of the federal agents. They got him. They arrested him. Judge Janini's prosecuting him for assault on a federal agent. He was a white guy. I don't know if he's a regular resident or if he works with I don't know if he works in the government. I don't know. But why are they not going out and talking to residents in the regular neighborhoods on their feelings with all these federal agents and the military coming into the city? And the reason they're not is because they're not going to give them the answers that they want to put on television, which is that they support what President Trump's doing. They would rather have a bunch of elitists like Simone Sanders in studio telling you that we don't support this, as opposed to having people that actually live there that are like, hey, it's safe now. I saw one person yesterday, that one of the reporters, with their pundits, and they said there was no crime last night. What are they doing? Well, of course there's no crime, because they have an overwhelming police presence and a military presence and federal agents everywhere, and they're not going to do crime while you have all this law enforcement out there. Okay, so let's talk about Dr. Appleton, and then we'll take a break. And today's Thursday. It's going to be Friday tomorrow. Then it'll be Saturday. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Appleton, as you've heard me say many times, he's rid me of pain 7 times. Sometimes from different types of accidents, sometimes just from the pains of growing old. And living with pain is not necessarily a part of growing old. You don't have to live in pain. You can go see Dr. Appleton, take advantage of his laser wave pain treatment, which works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Neck pain. One of our listeners from the cruise had arthritis in his neck, went to Dr. Appleton, and it's gone. It's gone. Stenosis, tennis elbow, tinnitus, strains and sprains, sciatica, muscular contraction, hip and knee pain, lumbar pain, bursitis, bronchial neuralgia, arthritis. The list goes on. The laser wave pain treatment works. It is 100% painless. You don't even feel it when it's happening. And there's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no downtime. And appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. If you have x-rays or scans, make sure to bring them with you. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, and online, appletoncairo.com.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
Don't you hate it when you buy something online and then you get slapped with a huge shipping charge at checkout? Not at MyPillow.com. Right now, enjoy free shipping on all orders $100 or more when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. This is your chance to stock up on unbeatable deals on everything site-wide. Soft sheets, cozy slippers, plush bathrobes, mattresses, mattress toppers, bed beds. It's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. Order now at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, for free shipping.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6064.
Check the language in this.
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do? Oh,
Okay.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account savings and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice and sure.
Oh. It was a crystal. Easier for them, and it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's Steve Kane Show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel, who's really he's a mediocre talent, isn't he? I mean, I don't know. I'm not into the late night shows, but he's a punk. So he announced something the other day. He was on a podcast with Sarah Silverman, who I usually don't pay too much attention to Sarah Silverman at all. She's very anti-Christian, and I don't really care for that kind of comedy. But she's on this podcast with Jimmy Kimmel, which is a very strange podcast. And he dropped something. Let me play this for you, and then just talk about it a little bit. It just shows the stupidity of this guy.
A lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship.
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
Oh, that's amazing.
I do have that. And
Okay, I don't want to play anymore because with Sarah Silverman and Kimmel on a podcast, there's certainly some F language coming. So he got Italian citizenship so he can have a place to go. And really what he wants a place to go is a place to go hide in shame when his late night show is canceled, so he doesn't have to walk around America, and he can go to Italy where they don't know him and they won't say, hey, you're not on TV anymore. But Why is what is his reason for doing that, right? Trump's a tyrant. So what's he doing? What's he saying? Well, Trump's rounding up all these people. They have all this immigration stuff. I'm going to go to Italy if I have to. I can't stand all this oppression. But he got Italian citizenship. So he went through a detailed legal process to obtain citizenship in another country, which involves all kinds of paperwork and documentation and approvals. He has no problem with Italy having an immigration process that you have to go through. But it's the United States he has a problem with. It's a very strange thing for him to do, to leave over the immigration issue, but go through a bunch, and they're very, it's not easy to get Italian citizenship, okay? It's not easy. Somehow he managed to do it. I don't know what the whole process was, and Sarah Silverman's certainly not going to ask, and I'm not even 100% sure I believe him, okay? I'd like to ask him to walk us through the process, but the process isn't you don't just show up in Italy and all of a sudden you're there living. So if they've got an immigration process over there, why is it wrong for us to have one? I don't know. But I do know this. He's a no talent. He sucks. All right. Our number is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie. What's up?
You know, yeah, this deal with Washington, D.C., cleaning it up. You know, they got these useful idiots like Renee from Harlem that calls you up and tries to trash you every day. They use people like this. They're very brilliant because what they've done now is that they're all saying, isn't it funny that President Trump wants to clean up all the cities, and the cities that he named all have black mayors. So now they're trying to say that this is a racial thing, and it's Jim Crow on steroids. This is how sick these people are, and the decent people in the black neighborhoods have to put up with this crap. And the court system has been infiltrated by these sick people. They turn these teenagers loose on this.
Well, I remember, like, you know, what the Democrats do, you probably remember this, Richie. Many years ago, Steve and I were on the Broward County School Board Diversity Committee. And, yeah, oh my goodness. The school board member that appointed me ended up in some type of legal trouble. And the school board member that appointed Steve died. And I don't know if there's any relation to them and their connection to us. It was a very controversial thing for us to be on this. And what they would do is they would take us on tours of schools in black neighborhoods. And I remember they took us to this beautiful library. And I'm like, look at this beautiful library and all the books. And the principal was there, and we were there at the school board. And I went up and I started looking at some of these books. They had not been checked out in 12 years. So they had this beautiful library. What they do to blacks in these cities is like with these schools that we, you know, Steve and I would take tours of. They abuse them, they use them, all they care about is getting their vote, and they expect them to live in high crime areas. And so far as DC, it's not just that they got a black mayor, it's a city that's run by 3 black women, right? The Bowser, that idiot chief, and whoever that third wheel lady is, deputy mayor, city council, I don't know who the heck she is still, I don't care. So why are blacks running these cities, allowing their people to be victims of crime all day?
Making money on the drugs. They're all involved, man. Let me tell you something. A guy like Renee's going to call up. You and I don't have the black experience.
Oh.
We're not driving the car and getting pulled over for nothing. It's always being...
I don't know. How many... You were driving that bus. You spent more time in the black neighborhood than Jasmine Crockett driving that bus.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I'm not right because you know what I did. If people knew Broward Boulevard alone, Broward Boulevard from there, when you were talking, I don't want to change the subject, but I lived as a white man in a black neighborhood.
That's right.
2.5 years, and they knew me and respected me because I respected them. And I used to watch them selling drugs right by the Broward County Sheriff's Department over in Dania. I would pull over and they would have all these pre-bagged, incredible. And that's
well, getting back to what we're talking about, what's happened here is it's not just that the Democrats have lost the black vote like they had. They had the black vote locked up, and they've lost a big chunk of it. But blacks are, yeah, but Yeah, but blacks are standing up openly against the Democrats now, and they and you know, this is the thing. And we're talking about the Clintons earlier. Bill Clinton was so smart. Hillary's an idiot. Okay, all of Bill's, you know, every problem with the Clintons, most of it's except the sex stuff, is Hillary's fault. And when the Republicans in 1994 won back Congress with Newt Gingrich, he realized how popular those positions were. And when he ran for re-election for president, he took all those Republican positions and embraced them and made them his own. And if you were a Democrat with a lick of sense, you would support this crime cleanup in D.C. And if you were the local mayor, you would be out there with these federal agents leading the charge, and they'd be so popular. But they hate Trump so much, they can't get themselves to do it.
They can't do that because they'd be admitting Trump is actually doing good for them.
Exactly.
So, you know, so it's an impossible situation.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got to support crime. They got to support crime.
Yes.
Support drugs.
That's correct. That's what they're doing, yeah.
Support all this other crazy stuff, and people are seeing it. And it's unfortunate, and I'm going to you on this one. I still see in New York City these crazy New York liberals are going to vote these coups in.
Yeah.
Well, this is crap that's happening. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Renee's of Harlem. They're all Renee's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I was, yeah, well, you know, somebody like that, you got, Renee, he's not out, he's just a hardcore militant racist. He just hates white people. That, I mean, you know.
Used by them. He doesn't even know it.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out Renee from Harlem lives in a very nice, beautiful brownstone in Harlem. I would, you know, Harlem is not the Harlem of yesteryear. It's not a cheap place to live. Harlem, you know, it's pretty upscale. All right, Richie, you take care. But you know, well, let's take our break, and then when we get back, we'll talk about more. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, I'm wearing a new belt my wife got me. This is a Trump belt that she got from the Trump store. And this belt is a belt that's for the size that my waist is now, which I'm not going to tell. I'm not telling anybody what I weighed and what I weigh now. And I'm not telling you what my waist size was and what it is now. I know the answers to all these questions, but, you know, it's bad enough I'm talking about how much I weigh. I'm not going to tell you, but I lost over 35 pounds. And this belt, it's such a funny thing because this belt is the right size for my weight and my waist size. The belt that I was wearing was my old belt for my old waist size and my old weight that I've had to put a whole bunch of holes in. And that belt was starting to go around my body again. I've lost that much weight and I've lost that many inches off of my body. And when I put this belt on today, sometimes it gets a little confusing because the end of the belt, it just goes through one hoop. The other belt is going through 2 and almost 3 hoops around my body, and this one fits perfect. And it feels like I'm shopping in the boys department when I put on belts now because I've lost so much weight. And you know, it feels great. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and remember, my results are typical. And if you want to lose less weight, like 20, I lost over 35 pounds. But if you want to lose, and I lost, and here's the thing. The weight that I lost was in all the places I wanted to lose it. My stomach, my neck, my face. I lost the weight, and it's like almost, I didn't target anything because I wasn't exercising, but it came off the parts of my body where you want to lose the weight. The waist, all that. It's amazing. But if you want to lose 200 pounds, 300 pounds, or even more, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Italy made their residency citizenship even harder.
Yeah, well, maybe his wife's Italian or something.
Well, it has, you now have, the only way to get citizenship is if your parents or grandparents recent were born in Italy. That's the only way you'd be able
your grandparents?
Yeah, your grandparents, or your parents.
I never thought that he was Italian, but maybe he is.
But there's a town in Italy as well for city, it's a small place where they're very low in population.
Yeah.
And they're offering people to come and move in, but you have to bring something with you. You have to like have your own shop. You have to have your own business to open for them to pay you to come over.
Yeah.
You have to be able to like revive the town. So maybe that's the town he might be going to. Maybe he has an idea or business that he's probably gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm bringing this with me, and they're like, okay, fine, come in then.
Someone in the chat said you can't target fat loss. That's not true. If you can exercise certain ways and certain things to lose weight in certain parts, but I didn't do any exercise. Bunch of know-it-alls in the chat sometimes.
They didn't call her and try to ask, they weren't curious about it.
Yeah.
HD TVs, giant screens, mouth-watering food, a full bar, and service that makes you feel like a winner. Go to ppkennelclub.com for more fun. Hear ye, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Floridians didn't know Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida have allocated $280 million for the 25-26 fiscal year to fund new grants under My Safe Florida Home program. This grant is up to $10,000 when you spend $15,000 or more on your project. This may include roofing and wind mitigation systems. Go online at mysafefloridahome.com and get approved before the money is gone. If you need help, please call me, Tom Laporta, 954-604-4602, or find us at laportaroofing.com. It's simple. When you spend $1, the state matches $2 up to $10,000. They send you a check. I know it sounds
Loop, not hoop. I don't know. What did I say? Hoop? I have no idea.
Now, back to the Steve Kane. Brian Craig.
All right. We're back. 31 minutes, actually coming on 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So yesterday, President Trump came out with the Kennedy Center honors, and I got to tell you, I have not watched those Kennedy Center honors since I was a little kid, and then only because my grandparents or somebody had it on. I've always found that the Kennedy Center honors are just, who cares, terminally boring. But President Trump is now the chairman of the Kennedy Center. And if you remember, when Trump was in his first term, the celebrities that were receiving it, they wouldn't attend or accept the honor if Trump was going to be there. Remember? These people are so stupid, you know. But he's picked some people that are going to show up, right? Like Sylvester Stallone and a few others. And, okay, so I'm going to be watching the Kennedy honors this year. Are you guys going to watch? I remember when the first time Trump was interviewed on 60 Minutes, I watched the whole thing. It was the first time I had watched 60 Minutes like in 20 years. But Trump was on and he was being, I watched it, right? The Daytona 500. Cars going around circles on a track is the most terminally boring thing. I don't understand it. I really don't. You know, even when one year for my birthday, I did that thing where you drive around the racetrack in the race car. I did it at Homestead. And it's pretty terrifying to do. But after I did like the second lap, it was kind of boring. I was, you know, it really was, even driving the stock car, it was boring after a while. But when Trump was the pace car, I watched the Daytona 500. And not only did I watch it like hours before they do the pre-show. They interview the drivers and everything, you know. And the Kennedy Center honors, I'm going to be watching that this year. And over on MSNBC, they're not happy about this. So we had this speech yesterday, or I don't know if it was a speech, but this announcement. He was at the Kennedy Center. And this is this Jansen weirdo. She's talking while President Trump's speaking. Listen.
That he is successful, and one of the ways he measures success is with television ratings.
Okay, now this one really particularly cracks me up because MSNBC, that has no ratings and has no viewers, their ratings are incredibly low. Of course, they don't want to measure success by ratings, because if they measure success by ratings, they would be unsuccessful. So they're trying to tell you, as they're on television, that television ratings mean nothing, right?
Made a lot of the idea that he is successful. successful, and one of the ways he measures success is with television ratings, right? And we go back to the very beginning of his first presidency, and he was measuring it by crowd size, which he exaggerated. So here he is talking about the Kennedy Center honors, which again are something that honors a lifetime of contributions to the arts, and which is one of the most prestigious awards you can get in the arts. And suddenly it's about ratings. That there is a through line there, Peter.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what a through line is. Do you know what a through line is? I have no idea what a through line is. I've never heard that term before. But, you know, if you have an event, the Kennedy Center Honors, no one watches that. Maybe the last time I watched the Kennedy Center Honors, Ronald Reagan was president and was there with Nancy. That's how long it's been. I don't remember watching. If I've watched it since, I've forgotten. And I know a lot of you are going to go, you're going to go out of your way to watch it this year, aren't you? Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is, the rate, if you have something that no one watches ever, and then all of a sudden they have record-breaking ratings because Trump is there, that's like a poll. And these people in the news, they're always obsessed with polls. MSNBC, they have polls every day. Well, this poll this, and this, the respondent said that. The ratings themselves are a poll, and everything he does, it has high rate. You know, like this Kennedy Center speech yesterday. Anytime I see that President Trump is going to come out and speak, especially now, I stop what I'm doing. I have it on in the background. I'll have it on my phone, my computer, my TV, wherever I'm at, and I'm monitoring for when he comes out. And when he comes out, I listen to the whole speech, and then I listen to all the questions and answers after. And how many of you do that? And with other, have you ever watched really a full speech or a press conference with any other president? Unless there was a major crisis going on, right? Like after 9/11, you probably listened to George Bush, right? After the bombing in Libya, you probably listened to Ray. But how many Trump speeches have you listened to? That sometimes are the same speech, right? At the Trump rallies. How many press conferences have you watched? Probably most of them, right? What other president have you done that for? And this is one of the things that they just don't get. You know, President Trump is a political, and this is, they can't get their mind around it. He's a political genius because he has captivated the majority of the electorate, and all of us, we hang on his every word. And what you really are waiting for, you know, because there's so much news going on, you know, when he starts taking questions, they're going to start asking about all these things that are going on in the news, which are incredibly scandalous. I'll play a little bit more of this to see what the idiot pundit has to say about Trump giving ratings to something that's been dead in the ratings forever, the Kennedy Center Honors.
Suddenly it's about ratings. That there is a through line there, Peter.
Well, there is. Trump makes it about Trump, right? We just had a military parade in Washington, D.C.
Oh, my goodness.
He wanted to celebrate, the military, but of course it was also about celebrating himself. He wanted to be the showman at the Kennedy Center.
You know, that military parade's another great example. And if you watch that military parade, it had little to nothing to do with Trump. And I watched it on line. I didn't watch it on Fox. And if you watch it online and you got to see the real feed that the I guess it was the Pentagon put it on, or the Army. Every time there would be a group that came up, they would put this graphic with a short little 60-second to 2-minute documentary about that unit and their history, or that type of vehicle, or that weapon, or this platoon, or whatever it was. They didn't mention Trump at all. It was all about but see, you know, the Trump derangement syndrome, all of these people on the left that have had Trump derangement syndrome, they really had it in check for quite some time. And what's happened with the grand juries and all this declassification of the documents, and then the what's going on in D.C., it's triggered all their Trump derangement syndrome, and it's back as bad as it ever could be, right? So they're on the air promoting things that are just insanely stupid, like it's a bad idea to clean up a neighborhood with from crime. Now, before we get back though to more of it, What you're going to find, okay, what you're going to find as this goes on is what's happening in Washington, D.C. is going to be completely successful. They've arrested close to 200 people already. Some of them are hardcore violent felons, and they're all being prosecuted. And what's going to happen is the other cities around the country are going to start asking for this to happen with them. And it's going to happen. What the next one will be, I don't know. Right? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people ask, well, where are the criminals going? They're going to move to another city. No, they're not. You know, what you're going to find is, you know, a lot of the crime that's going on in D.C. is going on because they can get away with it. And now that there's accountability, they're not going to get away with it. This guy that threw the Subway sandwich, for example, at the federal agents yesterday. Did you see this? This guy, I couldn't believe this. He gets into an argument with them. He's yelling at the federal agents. And remember what President Trump said. You spit, we hit. He's yelling at the agents. They're not doing anything. And then he took his footlong and threw it at the agent and then ran away. And they ran after him and they got him. And he's being charged with assault on a federal officer. Now, I don't know what the maximum sentence is going to be or what he's going to get for throwing a Subway sandwich, because it's obviously not something that's deadly. But you have to have zero tolerance in these situations. And most people want to live in a crime-free zone. What blows me away about the media reaction to what's going on in Washington is they themselves are the victims of the crime, right? We've heard so many of the media. What happened in the beginning is we got an honest reaction from the media, right? Some of them started telling us about when they've been victimized, right? Remember ABC News, they had 2 shootings. One was a murder right out in front of the ABC News studio. One got their car stolen. Another one of the lady anchors got jumped and mugged right out in front of the ABC studios in DC. We heard other ones, I got mugged at gunpoint. Another one said I had to move out of Washington because it's too dangerous. I drive into Washington every day. Right? And you're hearing, that was day one. And then boom, they all got together and said, oh no, we can't do this. So now they're saying something completely different. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get back to the calls and much more after the break. But if you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy, you want to call Lighthouse Medical. And remember, Lighthouse Medical can help you wherever you're located. And if you are local and you can't make it into the office, they can still help you. You know, they understand that if you have neuropathy, it's probably hard for you to get out of your house, even if you're in Fort Lauderdale to get to Pompano. It can be very, very difficult. If you know someone that has neuropathy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if it qualifies as an official disability, but it should. It is bad, and it is non-stop discomfort and pain. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, dizziness, loss of balance, falling down all the time. The feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet. Some have no feeling at all. Many people that have neuropathy have multiple symptoms going on at the same time. I thought you would have this going on and then later this. No, you have multiple things going on at the same time. It's a mess. Lighthouse Medical, their treatment for neuropathy works and it lasts. They treated Steve 3 years ago and his neuropathy has not returned. He's still just living the life without any of those symptoms 3 years later. Give them a call. It's a no-charge consultation if you mention you heard them on the Steve Kane Show. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
The cold.
Did you figure it out?
Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hopefully you can figure it out. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you as well in the 8 o'clock hour to sprout commercials to make it at least
okay,
especially for Joe. I just have one commercial before Younger Men, so we just gotta hit break.
Okay.
Before Younger Men, just to have that one commercial, and then we're good.
Look at this. See, look at this with the. See, look at this. It's just nonstop. Look at it. Page 2, 3, 4. Okay, then it slows down a little bit.
That's just in one day.
That's just in the last hour and a half. I was showing Mike all the calls that have been. I mean, it's like 30 to 40 times.
It's a whole, that's 3 straight, almost 4 straight
Mm-hmm.
pages. Just,
I know.
that's what?
Nutcases.
6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Usually I'd be, some people would be sleeping.
Who was it that called the 250? Was that Renee?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Renee. Called over 250 times.
Even though he likes to deny it.
I couldn't believe. Oh, it was him. It wasn't a very passionate denial. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, he didn't sound convincing that he didn't do it.
I didn't press him. There was no need. I mean, I felt really embarrassed for him. I mean, it was,
He spoke for himself. It showed.
my goodness.
West University on the south side of Sample Road.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
Alrighty, we are back. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian, IB.
Hey, IB, what's up?
You coming in okay?
You're coming in loud and clear.
Wow. I think I looked in Chrome. I think the context the anchor was using was basically trying to say everything goes back to Trump.
Oh.
Everything goes back to Trump. And she used the word as to not admit it's all about Trump because that's all you guys talk about. A connecting theme, plot, or characteristic in a film, television series, books, etc.
Oh, okay.
I saw that video yesterday and I was cracking up. Those are the kind of soul boys that call you. I call them milquetoast. That you actually, because you disagree with someone, you think you can harm them and injure them, and Trump is going to show them that is over with. How funny is it to throw your $12, $15 sandwich you just bought at the?
That was a guy. He had to be around 40. The guy that threw the Subway sandwich. He had to be around 40. Yeah, he wasn't a kid. He wasn't a kid.
And the example now, because of the crime statistic, the example now is Trump obviously has to clean up DC because all of the dignitaries that will be coming in the future, and this will be like the step one as to how it's.
Well, no, I mean the number one by the way, appreciate the call, IB. The number one job of the government is to keep the citizens safe. Yeah, this guy with the sub. Let me pull this up and I'll play it because Judge Janine talked about this. It was crazy. This is in the Gateway Pundit. DC leftist. Okay, so maybe we got some information who he is. Charged with a felony after attacking federal agents. This is in the Gateway Pundit. The New York Post reported 37-year-old D.C. resident Sean Charles Dunn, white guy, was caught using a sandwich from Subway to attack a federal officer. According to the criminal complaint, which was obtained by ABC News, Dunn approached the officer while shouting, "F you, you effing fascist." Oh, maybe it was one of our callers. Could have been one of our callers. "Why are you here? I don't want you in my city," he said. After a few minutes of back and forth, Dunn hurls the sandwich, striking the officer square in the chest. The officer immediately chases after him, and they take him down. Police say Dunn admitted his guilt after getting caught, telling an officer, "I did it. I threw the sandwich," which was on video and multiple witnesses. The United States Attorney for D.C., Janine Pirro, Judge Janine, let me play this statement. I love Judge Janine. This is, Judge Janine's she got a little mad at me about something that happened off the air, but maybe she's probably forgotten about that. But anyway, here's Judge Janine.
And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're gonna back the police to the hilt. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
Yeah, and, you know, it's... I know it seems a little ridiculous, you know, especially with the price of Subway these days. It seems a little ridiculous. I mean, there's, you know... I don't know if this guy's going to get any time for hitting a cop with a sandwich. You never know. But you've got to have zero tolerance in these situations. But, you know, when you see the video of the guy, which I saw it yesterday when it first happened online, he is completely unhinged. I mean, there's nothing about this guy that is anything but insane. And that's why Zohan is doing so well in New York. They got a new poll in New York that he's surging ahead. And it's not just because they're splitting the vote on the other side. You know, this guy that threw the sandwich is 37, so he's a millennial. You get in the under 45 crowd, and that's how they are. They're not normal people, all right? They're not normal people. And the way things are looking, Zohan's going to win this election. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, you know, they deserve what they get if they elect him. I don't subscribe to that because, you know, these elections are settled by very slim margins, and not everyone's going to be voting for him. Millions of people will be voting against him. So do they deserve to suffer? This guy, Zohan, it's not going to be like David Dinkins, okay? You know, David Dinkins... Sometimes what happens when you get a liberal, as an example, Giuliani, that everybody thinks was the greatest mayor of New York for all kinds of very legitimate reasons, and he was very good, he came in because of Dinkins. One of the reasons that Trump did so well in the first election is because Obama was so bad. So historically, when you have someone who's a complete incompetent in government and they do something very bad and things are a lot worse when they're there, it leads to, you know, somebody that's got their head screwed on straight becoming the mayor. That's very, very true. However, things are different in New York. You know, this, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. This redistricting that's going on. The people in New York, by I don't know how many millions, that have their head screwed on straight have left in the last 5 years. So New York's always been liberal, and it's going to be liberal for a long, long time. But there aren't enough people that are clear thinking in New York to correct this, even after a complete failure with Zohan, because people have left to Florida and Texas. That's why red states are redistricting. You know, Ron DeSantis was on Fox this week, and he was talking about, I can't remember the exact numbers, but he was talking about how many more registered Republicans there are in Florida than Democrats. This is unheard of because Democrats have always outnumbered Republicans by a lot in Florida. And, you know, this was a blue state for a long, long time. And over the years, it's changed. And it's no longer a blue state. It was a swing state for a while. You know, Hillary thought she had a chance in 2016. It's now a strong red state. And one of the reasons this is a strong red state is because clear-thinking New Yorkers have moved here. And there just aren't enough clear-thinking people. You know, the idiot liberals that are left behind in New York, no matter how bad things get in New York under Zohan, they're going to think it's beautiful. You know, what happens with liberals, a lot of liberals, in particular white liberals, they have a fetish for people that are not white or not Christian being in these positions. So no matter what the failure is, they're going to tell you that it was great. And not only, he could end up being a 2-term mayor, this guy, as dumb and as incompetent as he is. And I don't think the people in New York deserve it because a lot of them aren't going to vote for him. I mean, you know, come on. But that's just the reality of it. But this redistricting that's going on, it's going to come to Florida next. And the reason they're doing it is not just because the last census was wrong, because it was. Remember, Trump was trying to get illegals taken off the census so far as congressional district reapportionment, and he lost that in the first term. But they're going to do a new census, and it's going to be an accurate one. And they said a couple of times that they have some new technology from the campaigns that they're going to use to do it, as opposed to doing it with people filling out forms at home or going door to door. Because when people are filling out the forms themselves, or people are going door to door and it's done that way, there's all kinds of corruption that goes on in that. See, that's why when they did the census in 2010 with Obama, that's why James O'Keefe shutting down Acorn was so smart, because Obama was going to have Acorn do the census. And I remember people were saying, when they do this census, the census is going to show that whites are a minority, right? And then Acorn screwed up, with James O'Keefe, they didn't get to do it. But they like with the crime stats in Washington, D.C., the census takers are all radical leftist activists, and they just make things up. Like I told you guys, I had a census taker come to my door. The reason they came to my door is because my daughter's black, and they thought we were all black in the house, and they wanted to get that down. And for all I know, on the last census, I got counted as a black person. I would not be surprised by the census taker that came to. Have you ever had a census taker come to my house, to your house? I never have had that happen before, and that's why I think they did it. So I'm probably down as a black guy on the census. All right, now I want to remind you all that at mypillow.com, it's free shipping on all orders that are $100 or more with our promo code Kane. And remember, you also get the discount. So whatever the discounted special is that you take advantage of, and there's a lot of discounts at mypillow.com, you get that plus free shipping on orders that equal $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. Promo code Kane, Kane at checkout, free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more. All right. Okay. Now Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour, and I am going to go over with Steve some of the updates with the on the coup conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, and there's a few other things that I haven't gotten to yet that I've been saving for Steve. But everything is coming together perfectly. I am watching a little bit of CNN. I can't watch MSNBC. I'm watching a little bit of CNN, and you can tell there's hysterical panic going on. Hysterical panic going on with some of these pundits, because the ones that are the pundits are the ones that are related to people, right? They're the ones that are connected. And the ones that I really like to watch, I like to watch Brennan and Clapper. Those two look scared to death because they know that the no-knock warrants are coming. All right, our number, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Renee.
Talking about me before.
Yes.
You just don't get it. You're really trying, and I would invite you to wear that stupid hat and come up to Harlem and try that nonsense up here.
All right, you want me? Wait, are you telling me that black people in Harlem are prone to violence, and that if they see a hat they don't like, they'll do something? I mean, what does that mean?
They don't like racists, and they don't like you. Wearing that stupid hat, they'd love to.
Oh, well, good. I didn't know they knew who I was on the streets of Harlem. I didn't know I was that famous. They don't like me. The people of Harlem don't like me? Wow. So the people, oh, okay. It's nice to be known on the streets of somewhere, other than the place where you live.
Oh, wear that hat, don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I told you the other day that you have such a limited vocabulary. All you can do is call somebody a racist in a few different ways. And I want to ask you a question. You call me Brienne. Does it make you not feel gay if you call me a feminine name, like your attraction to me? It doesn't sound gay if you call me like a girl's name or something. Is that why you do that? I'm just curious.
It makes you sound like more of what you are.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. I tell you, just weirdos. All right, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. When we come back, as I said, Steve will be joining us. Our number toll free, 1-888-465-2631. I am so bored with Renee from Harlem. You know, I mean, we used to have this one racist, the Black Phantom. Remember him? He was awesome. The Black Phantom. He was a racist, a black racist. He hated everything white. I mean, this guy. But he was more, if you guys remember the Black Phantom, he was interesting. He had something to say. He didn't just call in and say, you're a racist, you're a racist. He talked about the news of the day. Unlike Renee from Harlem, who doesn't say much other than, you're a racist. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. We'll be back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WFLM 104.7 HD3 Palm Beach,
Is Barry today? I forgot. Okay.
From the Kalea Pain Relief Weather Center, the only pain relief cream that blocks pain and reduces inflammation within 3 minutes or less. Here's your oldies forecast.
Hey, what's up? Yep. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. We got a couple minutes. I cannot, no. I cannot. I will when I'm here. I'm going to put you on hold.
Am I good to go in there? Okay. No, I wasn't sure.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's a sizzling summer of the poker get high hands every 15 minutes every day, plus more big
Not that I saw. I was also
$100,000
I don't think I saw it.
Don't miss the $10 poker party coming up on Friday, August 29th. The perfect start for beginners to experience tournament play. That's small and win big on table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum all day, every day. For more information and more fun, go to pbkennelclub.com.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Winning Lab Test Now.
So were you able to move things around? I know you told me, I just forgot.
Yeah, everything was put into place. So we got 3 minutes.
And then at the bottom?
Just one commercial.
Oh, good.
But we do need to just hit.
You can take that out. Oh, that's it. That's the only spot we have there.
Yeah. So we got.
Oh no. Okay. Then no. Okay. I thought that was the bottom of the hour.
No. We got Any Lab now, Lighthouse, Friendly Tire, and the Seagull for next break.
Okay. Well, take the Seagull and put that. Oh wait, is this 8:15?
Yeah.
Oh, and 8:30
is just the traffic,
Oh.
the weather, and the.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Appleton.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it. I try to make it like as spread out as possible, but still decent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still want the mic over?
Yeah, you can put it back then. Yeah, I didn't realize.
Just a quick one to in between. I'll worry about Eric after.
So what was the problem?
We still don't know.
Oh.
We're just trying to get it figured out. We tried buying it. It's weird right now. We all don't know what's going on. It has to be the update. Because we can only access this computer. Which makes no sense. Because that's the main computer we should access. I don't know why it's this one that's the only way access.
977-9445. Thank you. On the air since 1977, it's the Steve.
All right, the third hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm Brian Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. How you doing? Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're doing better than me. I've been up for like 2 days. So I don't know what it is, but people know I get up early in the morning, so they think it's okay to call me at like 12:30 at night, So I'm one of those guys. If I'm up, if the phone ring, I don't keep the phone right by me. So when the phone rings, I got to get up and get the phone. And if I hear the phone ring at 12:30 at night, I assume somebody's either in jail or dead. And that's happened the last 2 nights. So I guess I got to start turning my phone off at night, you know. And I wait. Yeah, exactly. And I get, there's such an adrenaline rush. I'm like, well, I just might as well stay up because I get up so early. So I haven't slept the last couple nights. And maybe I'll block the number of the person who called me last night at 12:30. A friend of mine. Maybe I'll just, you know. But anyway, now lots is happening, lots going on. Did you have somewhere you wanted to go, or did you want me to update you? Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. Well, no, I wanted to recap with you the update on the Clintons, because this is, so I was talking. See, a lot of people don't quite see what's going on here. Everything, we've had 2 weeks of releases, and it started with the Tulsi Gabbard declassification. And I was talking about how they're releasing Donald Trump has got to be behind this entire operation. And it is, because the way that all the information is being released, it's being released in, the way we describe it is in beats, right? Instead of releasing everything at once and you get a big document drop and everything gets lost, the way I'm describing it is they're releasing it in chapters, right? Like chapter 1 was the Tulsi Gabbard declassification about that Obama meeting in the Oval Office. He got together with all the heads of the intelligence agencies. They said there's no evidence of Russian collusion. Trump won. And he told them all, Brennan, Clapper, and all the rest, I don't care. Go out and craft fake intelligence reports and say there was, and then let's get them out to the media, right? That was chapter 1. And there's been chapters and chapters every couple of days. And this week, we've gotten 3, right? Earlier in the week, we had all of Adam Schiff's crimes of leaking classified information. We got a witness. We got a whistleblower, a witness that corroborates everything the whistleblower says. And we even have, and everything's documented too, right? Even with emails. And we even have the promise from Hillary Clinton that she would make him CIA director if he was successful and everything. Yesterday. Oh, yeah. It's compelling. Oh, yeah. It's compelling. It's compelling. Yesterday we were talking about the chapter. It was the Comey chapter, right? All of the crimes that Comey committed, leaking classified intelligence to the New York Times, and who he worked with, and all the names, and how he was trying to get Trump knocked out of office. And then today's chapter is on the Clintons. And it's just every day it's a new chapter, and you're putting a whole new piece. And the reason they're doing it this way, they may already have sealed indictments from these grand juries in Fort Pierce, the Pam Bondi grand jury that's in St. Lucie County. And what they're doing is they're releasing everything in this. You have to be a professional media person to release it this way, because the way they're doing it is master. That's why I think Trump's behind it. This sounds like right up his alley. Yeah. Well, Trump directing him. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's right. That's right. And what they're doing is they're building, and when you're releasing things like this, you start with something big, which they did, and you have a lot of good stuff in between, but you end with the biggest, right? So everything that's come out, as exciting as it's been, we haven't gotten to the big kahuna yet. The big drop will be at the end. And I don't know what it's going to be. What?
The fun of the game is guessing what the last big drop in this chapter is. It's going to be, the next, I don't know if it's the entire chapter, but the next one's going to be about the justification for when they finish cleaning up D.C., they're going to pick another city, and they're going to,
yeah.
We're going to, it's going to,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a connection with the city, you know, with what's going on. I'll get you in a minute. So what they're doing with all these declassifications and the new ones with the Clintons, but they're preparing the country for the indictments to come out. And this cleanup of D.C., it serves a lot of purposes. I mean, it's the right thing to do, what he's doing, and Trump knows that and everything. But people are seeing how much in favor of law and order that he's in, cleaning up the streets of D.C. So when these indictments start coming in of Brennan and Comey and Clapper, Sally Yates is the new name. Yeah.
Chapter which involves D.C., once this is over, people are going to start talking about how successful it was and wondering why.
Yeah. And Chicago. It's going to be Chicago probably will be next. Yeah. Yeah, I mean everybody, because everybody in the country universally agrees it's out of control there. So I mean, it's just everything that's happening. It's happening in a very controlled and planned out way, is what I'm trying to say, for public consumption. And when that final thing, and this is why the liberals on television look physically ill. Because they know what the end is going to be, because their friends are inside and they're getting leaks. They know things that we don't know about yet, and they're in a panic. Well, let me give out the number. Our number is toll free. You would have liked to see the first hour of the show. I forgot to turn the phones on. It was awesome. It was, you know what it was like? You know, it was like the Joyce Kaufman show. There were no calls in the first hour. The only difference is our phones were off, and hers are on every day. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
Hey, you're so right about D.C. being the first one in a series of those cities that they're going to go into, and it's very detailed and planned out. And I think if they revealed everything at once, it would even be too much for us conservatives. They need to slow roll it out.
What we just said, right?
Well, what happens a lot of times, okay, if you throw everything out at once, everything gets lost. So you have to, if you do it in an organized, slow, and controlled way, people get everything that's going on along the way. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. Oh, that's the cue. Yeah, you don't like Jeff from Maine, Steve. I know you don't. That's okay. 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 All right. Well, so I was happy. You like him as a person and as a listener, just not as a caller. But just not as a caller. Just not as a caller. Okay. So you like him as a listener, but you don't like him as a caller. Okay, I get it.
Dosage like, I don't know, 60-second interviews. He's not interviews. 60-second intervals, he's kind of interesting.
Who's that, Jeff?
You get past the 60-second mark, he's out of material.
Yeah, well, we've had callers that have had less material than that over the years, that's for sure. I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. One of the things Dr. Appleton told me about a few weeks ago that didn't occur to me, and then it makes perfect sense, is that the laser treatment treats the pains that you have after a car accident. And then I realized I couldn't remember what caused my knee injury, where I had 30 years of pain, and it was a car accident. And a friend of mine, we were out bar hopping, and I wasn't driving. My friend drove over the median, missed it. We were turning left across an intersection. He missed the lane, went over the median, and totaled the car, and I tensed up and jammed up my knee. I had 30 years of suffering. Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it, if you're out there listening. But at 30 years of pain and suffering gone, it was the first time Dr. Appleton treated me. He rid me of pain. That was 3 years ago, and the pain has not returned. He went on to do it 6 times after that. Say bye-bye to your pain, too. Give him a call. His laser treatment works. There's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime, and no appointment necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. 954 973-0710, 954-973-0710, and online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
On air now, 888 Go Kane 1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with Attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how Attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account savings and a house and a car from my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there and they sat with me and we went over everything and I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two
I mean, look at this. It's just non-stop. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
I break a new record again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
And online,
Some big fans. Well, also those crazy people fans.
Yes, for sure.
That has to be. Ow.
Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida have allocated $280 million for the 25-26 fiscal year to fund new grants under My Safe Florida Home Program. This grant is up to $10,000 when you spend $15,000 or more on your project. This may include roofing and wind mitigation systems. Go online at mysafefloridahome.com and get approved before the money is gone. If you need help, please call me, Tom Laporta, 954-604-4602, or find us at laportaroofing.com. It's simple. When you spend $1, the state matches $2 up to $10,000. They send you a check. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it is. So again, call us at 954-604-4602 or find us at laportaroofing.com.
Set sail with Margaritaville at sea and get into an island state of mind. Right now, enjoy 50% off fares, third and fourth guests sail free, and for a limited time, snag a $1 stateroom upgrade. Whether you're chasing bucket list destinations or just escaping to the open sea, Margaritaville at sea is the best way to sail into paradise. Book it today at margaritavilleatsea.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Oh, you know, I talked to Ian, our travel agent for our cruises, Steve. This is going to be our largest group we've ever had, our 10th cruise. This is our 10th year in March, our 10th annual MAGA cruise. It's going to be the largest group of people we've ever had on any of our cruises. Yeah, so I'll just give out the number. You guys call it. He'll tell you all about the Cruz 561-244-5779. We've got a shore excursion we have not announced yet that is going to be the most spectacular we've ever done, Steve. I shouldn't even say that much because we're waiting to sign the deal. But 561-244-5779. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He'll call you back. Okay, this redistricting that's going on. Ron DeSantis, as ticked off as I am that he lied to us and lied to Trump and all of that, he's like the best governor we've ever had. I mean, he's good, and we've been through a lot of governors, and we've had good governors. Rick Scott was a good governor. Jeb he's crazy now, but he was a good governor, But Ron DeSantis is the best, and he was on Hannity the other night. Did you see him on Hannity talking about the redistricting? Okay, someone okay, well, that's where the cobwebs come from, Steve. MSNBC. That's what they do to your mind, okay? They're trying to say on the left that Republicans are gerrymandering the districts, right, in Texas. And if I think I mentioned this to you yesterday, the map that they just approved in the Texas State Senate, Jasmine Crockett no longer has a district. She no longer has a district. But the I know, isn't that great? That's great. The Republicans aren't gerrymandering. They're correcting the gerrymandering, right? This is a correction. It's exactly. I don't know what the word is, but we're going to get accurate representation. That's what they're doing. This is not gerrymandering. It's what was the term you used?
Counter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's getting them back in a lawful way like they should. In fact, South Carolina is now saying that they're going to do it. They're talking about doing it. And I saw the congressional map of South Carolina. It's a joke. It's a joke. They go from house to house. This is why I told you the census person came to my house. They're probably doing it to redraw the district because these districts, they go from in some of these little areas, they go from black household to black household. And that's why they're so skinny and weird shaped like snakes and stuff. And South Carolina's about to correct it. Well, anyway, DeSantis, when I say he's a great governor, just a couple things. He is going to get on the ballot ending property tax in the state of Florida, which is a great thing because insurance is out of control. Homeowners insurance. He said it'll be on the ballot. Who would they be able to defeat that if it was on the ballot? He said it's got to be on the ballot. Who would vote against eliminating property taxes? Are you kidding? I can't imagine anyone voting against that. Renters, the rent is in large part based on property. When you own years ago, my wife and I, we were gonna start renting property, and then I started looking at the taxes because you don't get the homestead exemption on your rental properties. The taxes are huge on rental properties. The rent is largely impacted by property taxes. It would help renters too. Maybe not as directly, but it would help them. But anyway, so that's one thing that he's doing, which is incredibly good. But it was on Hannity the other night. He pointed something out. He said this: when DeSantis became governor, which was 2018, Democrat voter registrations in the state of Florida outnumbered Republicans by 300,000. There were that's when Ron DeSantis became governor 6 years ago, right? Democrat registered voters outnumbered Republican voters by 300,000. Now, Republicans outnumber Democrats by 1.3 million. That's crazy. So that's, I guess, that's like a 1.6 million gain because we had the, So the way the congressional districts are drawn now, it's just not representative of the state or any of the states because there's been so much migration that's gone on after 2020 to red states, right? And if you notice, with the Democrats have been working very hard to turn Texas blue forever, right? You know, it used to be a strong Democrat state. They had that liberal woman that was the governor before Bush was governor. I forgot her name, but she was governor for 8 years, and but it turned into a red state with Bush, and it stayed that way. And this redistricting in Florida, where they have redistricted Jasmine Crockett out of a district, if you notice, there really hasn't been too much protest about that. I know the Democrats in the Senate walked out in a straight line or something. But in the old days, you'd have the race hustlers and race pimps in Texas freaking out. And there's very little outrage about that. I haven't even heard anybody play the race card. And I think the whole redistricting in Texas was inspired to get rid of Jasmine Crockett's district because she's such a pain in the butt. She's a poisonous person. But now it's spreading to other states. And if you notice, there is not much resistance to doing it because I think the country is so conservative now. And the country's always been lean conservative. But it's overwhelming now.
What it is the Bush machine, listen to me.
Trump.
See, the Trump machine has taken over, and now we're organized like they used to be.
Correct. Yes, we have a machine. Yes, we have an organization. And when we were 300,000 registered voters down versus Democrats, and now we're 1.3 million ahead, I would not be surprised if we did the redistricting. Broward County may be a totally different place. I bet you Broward County, you live in Broward. You know, Broward County is like Cook County, Chicago, but more corrupt. But I bet you that if they redrew the districts, you would find there are going to be Democrats in Broward County that no longer have congressional seats. It's not. I bet you it's not really a Democrat county anymore, like it used to be. It was the big stronghold. They lost Dade. Dade's a strong Republican county, and Palm Beach. The Palm Beach County Commission just renamed Southern Boulevard Donald John Trump Boulevard from the airport to Mar-a-Lago to the ocean. So, yeah, and that is, in the Palm Beach County Commission, they were so hardcore Democrat, they were the ones that wouldn't let Trump build the helicopter pad before he was president. They had some height regulations over there, and now it's obviously Republican. And for those that don't know, Southern Boulevard is the road at the Palm Beach airport that the president drives on to and from Mar-a-Lago.
This is going on now without the Trump machine. They've been organized well up to this point.
Yes.
Really applaud the organization as strong as it's going to be after this.
Yeah. Oh, you've got. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you know, and the congressional redistrict, the new, it's a done deal. There's not, if you note it, there's no debate about, are they going to do the census? Trump just said, we're doing it. He's not, in the first term, Trump was he was trying to sell what he was doing a lot, right? Through the press and and he doesn't do that now. He just says, this is what it is. We're doing this. And the redistricting is going to happen in Florida. Now, I don't know if it'll affect the next race or the next presidential race, but it's going to happen. And it's not, well, here's the thing, okay? This is how it works. The electoral college vote that a state has is equal to its representation in the House. However many House members you have is how many electoral college votes you have. And Florida and Texas and other red states were undercounted. And there's been this huge migration. So a state like Florida, we're expected to gain 5 or 6 congressional seats. That's also 5 or 6 electoral college votes too for the presidential elections. The whole what's going on with this redistricting and with the crime fighting too, it's a much bigger picture than I think people have sat down to really think about what's going on. It is.
Step back just a little bit, you'll realize what was going on just before when Biden was president. That whole thing with the immigration from out of the country, all these illegals pouring in that we're countering now, that was their move to take control of the political future of the country.
Correct. Correct.
And they filled them up with Democrats, crook Democrats, and all of the NGOs and the whole organization set up ready to get rid of group.
That's right.
We put a stop to it, reversed it, and now we've come up with our plan, and they're screwed.
What's going on, and everything's happening so fast, is why I think it hasn't really grabbed. There's a major Republican revolution going on in the country right now. All right, now listen, I'm gonna put you on hold, Steve. We're gonna take our. Okay, all right. I'm gonna give out the number 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. You're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies.
Sorry, guys. Excuse me.
Pain Relief Weather Center, the only pain relief cream that blocks pain and reduces inflammation within 3 minutes or less. Here's your oldies forecast.
Today in the Palm Beaches, it will be sunny and then a chance of thunderstorms in the high of 87 degrees. Into the evening, mostly clear and a low of 82 degrees. On Friday, it will be sunny with a high of 87 degrees. On Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 82 degrees.
Weather brought to you by Kalea Pain Relief Cream. Is pain robbing you of your quality of life? If you answered yes, you have to try Kalea Pain Relief. Kalea Pain Relief Cream relieves arthritis, joint, and muscle pain better than anything you've ever tried. Kalea, get back to doing what you love. Now available in your local public supermarket in the pharmacy section. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
On the Turnpike southbound, it's stop and go between Okeechobee Boulevard and Lakeworth Road. We have a crash reported Lakeworth Road at Hooks Road. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line. Pound 250 keyword West Palm traffic on Rogers.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Join us this Sunday for our sports card and memorabilia show from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The best one-day show in all of South Florida with great vendors, free admission, full bar, great food, and all the games on our sports TVs. While you're here, try your hand at some poker
Joe, not
and
here?
table games and on the top horse tracks and the country at our OTB, and get some exceptional eats in the Paddock Restaurant. For more info and more fun, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Wow. Oh, I didn't think you made it.
I was talking to Vic.
There you go.
I haven't seen him in forever. How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Great.
And I highly recommend them. I thank you so much for the recommendation. I'm very grateful.
You have lights on in there. I've never seen lights.
Oh, Ryan's in there.
Yeah, it's not working.
Usually don't.
I just thought we talked.
Did you have anything in particular? Okay.
Yeah. We talked about whatever.
Okay.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating.
All right, we're back, and Jupiter Joe Thomas is here in studio. You know, Joe, you and I, we were talking the other day, and you brought something, and I never thought about this, and it's what happens to 401ks, and, you know, people have 401ks, and all you think about is building, but when you retire, what happens to your 401k?
Nobody knows.
Exactly, I never hear people talk about that, and yeah, I don't know, and this is what I guess. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but because you deal with people that have these, you know. But if you have a 401k and you retire, you probably cash it out.
Some people do, and they don't realize it's taxable.
And they get hit by taxes, and then they start living off of that nest egg in a savings account or something. What do they do?
So if they know what they're doing, they'll start a distribution phase. You know, the whole thing about a 401k is an accumulation You're accumulating money for 30
Yep.
years, and then you need a distribution phase, but nobody knows how to do it. So if you go to a broker and you roll your money over, a stockbroker, they're going to say you take 4% out. So pose this question to you: if you have $1 million in a 401k and you take 4% out, that's $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
You're used to living on $100,000 a year. How are you going to live on $40,000 a year?
Exactly.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we have a distribution phase with an annuity.
Yeah.
Guarantees you income for life. And guess what our payouts are? 7 and 8%.
Wow.
So now you're getting $70,000 or $80,000 a year, which helps you live your life.
You know, most people, and now this is just my experience. Most people I know, when they retire, it's what you said. They're not really downsizing. The kids were already out and grown, so whatever they're making, they still really need to kind of have that coming in.
Look, everything's expensive today.
Yeah.
After COVID, everything went up, right? And President Trump's doing what he can to get everything down. But it's expensive to live, especially in South Florida. They say, you know, people think they're going to come to Florida. They're going to buy this house on the beach.
Yep.
They're going to join a country club.
Yep.
For $100,000. It just
Yep.
doesn't work. You know,
No.
this is South Florida, man. It's expensive to live down here. You know.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was looking, I had a condo that my wife and I had when we first got married, little tiny condo, and I saw online it was for sale. And the HOA is like almost $1,000.
It's crazy.
You know, so, you know, you retire and get a condo. Okay, oh, I got a great deal for the condo. Maybe even pay cash for it, but you still got that HOA.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're on a golf, you got that golf course fee. You know, so this dream of mortgage-free living and everything, it costs a lot of money. And the thing I like about the annuities is, you know, unlike with the 401k, you're not chipping away at your nest egg because your nest egg's safe, and you've got that revenue coming in.
Exactly. It's a big difference. Now, you know, it's interesting. President Trump now has changed the 401k. I don't know if he's having a whole, it's changed it. So you can invest now in private equity, crypto, and
Really?
real estate. Yeah.
Wow.
The only problem is there's going to be no advice for it. So if you have a 401k, you need advice, and that's what we do.
Mhm.
So that's why we provide a book to people, we
Yeah.
provide a consultation to people, and what that does is it helps people get educated about their money. If you're listening right now, get information and education about your 401k.
Yeah.
Know the fees. Know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with a guy the other day with FRS, you know,
Mhm.
retirement
Yep.
system. 15 minutes on hold, we finally got through to somebody, another 15 minutes to find out the guy's balance. He didn't even know his balance.
Oh
after
my
30
goodness.
years.
Well, what happens, a lot of times people got to come to you and they don't just have maybe a 401k, they have an investment fund and it has however much is in it. Okay, but now I'm going to retire. I'm not going to be adding. What do people do? They have an investment fund. It has X amount of dollars. Maybe it has 50,000, maybe it has 5 million in it. What do they do and how do you help them?
So what we're talking about with most people, do you want income or do you want growth? Growth is, I want to grow my money. I want to make
Yeah.
it as much. So we'll put in one type of annuity, growth annuity, with a bonus, and then they can be in the market without the risk, 0
Mhm.
risk.
Yeah.
Or they want income, so that's an income annuity, and then we turn that into income for them.
But what percentage of people are now retiring that are still in the building phase? They want income, don't they? Because they don't have their job anymore.
Most people I'm seeing, they want income, starting in either 30 days or 1 year.
30 days, yeah. So that's something.
Yeah, this year specifically, most people come into my office and say, hey, I want income in 30 days.
And you can do that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, we've got income where, in fact, we're usually direct depositing your check within 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we tell people 30 days because it takes us a few weeks to get the paperwork set up. But we do 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You tell us when you want to retire.
Yeah.
So for somebody's got money sitting on the sidelines, they say, hey, I want to put this in and not touch it for 3 years.
Yeah.
We can do that. No problem.
Well, that's an interesting thing. You never mentioned that before. So you can start getting your monthly checks within a month.
Yep.
Well,
And by the way, it's you know how much your Social Security is going to be to the penny? With these annuities, you're going to know to the penny how much you're going to get per month. So you can add up your fixed expenses and know how much your fixed income is. And
Wow.
that's how you survive in retirement.
That's exactly right.
You know?
That's exactly
We've
right.
had that conversation before.
Absolutely. Well, listen, give Joe Thomas a call. Remember, it's a no-charge consultation, no matter where you're located, and he's going to put together a custom proposal for you based on your situation and your goals. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. All right,
Thank you
Joe,
so
we'll
much.
see you soon. All right, take care. All right, now let's go back. If you'd like to call in, our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I wanted to update you, Steve, on the latest drop with the coup conspirators they just came out yesterday, which is the Clintons, okay? Okay. Now, this is just fantastical. The Clintons, Hillary Clinton's in trouble. I would if we would have been talking a week ago, I would not have thought that Hillary Clinton would face charges, but she's actually facing charges now with what's coming out, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But a lot of people, Tulsi Gabbard's, well, what's changed is all these documents that are getting declassified, like these new Clinton documents with Sally Yates, the Deputy Attorney General, and everything else. What's changed is these documents nobody knew existed that detail all the crimes they were doing. No one knew they existed until Trump's second term, when Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard and Radcliffe at the CIA found them. You know, you know why I think they didn't destroy them? My first thought was, if there's documents, that means you can't get caught holding the bag because everybody's dirty. But I don't think so. You know, I've told you a million times that all these people, Brennan and Comey and all of them, and Hillary, they don't think they're criminals. They think they're American patriots that were saving the country from Trump. And I think in their psychotic, self-important, narcissistic mind, I think they documented and kept everything so that they would have their place in history as these great heroes of America. I really do. Isn't it? I'm serious. Why else, Steve, who does crime and documents it in emails on government servers? Who does that? Yeah. So, so all these things that are coming out, what's changed is nobody knew these documents existed. And Bongino had mentioned this, and this is what we're getting. Bongino and Kash Patel found the Comey files. And honestly, what the Comey files are is an extension of the Hoover files. But they found lock safes with these files in them. They found the burn bag room that was filled with files in burn bags that didn't get burned, and a bunch of other files that were locked away. No one knew any of this stuff existed. So that's what's changed. That's what the evidence is. But, Tulsi Gabbard said yesterday there's an investigation into Fauci now through everything that he did. So Fauci, and then we were talking the other day about Schiff. These guys got pardons, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, so what? They're pardoned. Well, a pardon doesn't pardon. You don't have immunity for future crimes. It only pardons you for past crimes, right? So when Adam Schiff comes in, or Fauci come in, and they're questioned by the grand jury, they're questioned by the FBI, because Kash Patel's FBI is leading the investigation. Are they going to tell the truth? Yes, I leaked all this classified information. I conspired with Obama, and I worked with Comey and the New York Times, and we got these things. Or are they going to lie? Even though Schiff has a pardon and Fauci has a pardon, are they going to tell the truth or lie when questioned? Correct. They can't take the Fifth Amendment because they have immunity. You can only take the Fifth if you're facing prosecution on these things. So they can't take the Fifth. You can't incriminate yourself if you can't be prosecuted on it, right? So if they tell the truth, like if Schiff comes in and says, yes, I was working with Obama and all of them, it was illegal, we did it. No. And if he lies, that's a new crime. You lied to it's a new crime that's not covered by the pardons. And I just do not see Schiff telling the truth about how this went down. I see him lying. No. Well, you're not dealing with saying, you or I, we would tell the truth. I'm not going to lie to a federal agent because half of the federal prison population is probably from perjury traps. From the way it sounds. I mean, that seems to be like their big crime that they go after, So, and if they do tell the truth, okay, but they're giving us information that we need to prosecute these others. Well, I am too, Steve, but some of the callers today you don't really want to be talking to. But we'll take some calls. We'll take our last break for the Gold Report, and then we'll come back and we'll take some calls, okay? Our number is 888-465-2736. 2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. I'll call you in one second.
Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Don't you hate it when you buy something online and then you get slapped with a huge shipping charge at checkout? Not in mine.
Hey.
Right now, enjoy free shipping on all orders, $100 or more. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout.
Oh, I still got to do 2 spots.
Oh, no, just one.
Just coastal? Okay.
The other one was Joe Thomas, but that was it.
Okay.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, The Steve Kane Show is
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Thursday morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Going to go on these interest rates in September, but the overwhelming percentage thought is that rates will be going lower, but with these inflation numbers keep coming in, mostly due probably to the tariffs, we could see a pause on that too.
Yeah. Well, all I know is gold has been money for 5,000 years, and when it comes to gold, you got nothing to worry about because it's always going to be valuable. You know, that's exactly right. So if you're in gold, you got nothing to worry about. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, at William Youngerman's, all the metals are available for immediate delivery at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1, Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. His phone number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman will finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. All right, we got you back, Steve. All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, see what I mean? Yeah, you're on the air. Yeah, Carlos.
Well, first, I apologize for the connection. My Bluetooth kind of stinks, but I wanted to say, Steve, it's a pleasure hearing you. You haven't sounded this good in a long time. You sound great. I just wanted to say.
I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to hear that. That's half compliment. But anyway, go ahead, Port St. Lucie.
Well, I meant it. You sound great, Steve.
I know. I know. Don't you have to repeat it. So, what's on your mind with this great sound we have in the background?
Well, there's evidence.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think that it's an accident that they're finding this stuff. I think not all the agents in the FBI were bad.
That's true. Listen, I'd like to continue, but the sound in the background is just too bad. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how bad the sound was till I disconnected the call. You'll be happy you didn't hear what he said. No, he insulted you under the guise of complimenting you. It was you know, I would say it was almost a clever attempt, but it was, you know, with the sound in the background, it didn't have the impact. He did say something at the end though about that was what this Clinton revelation was about. In 2016, there were 3 FBI field offices investigating the Clintons. One in New York, one in Little Rock, and the third one I can't recall where it was. But they had 3 separate field office FBI investigations into the Clintons. And what they were investigating was using the Clinton Foundation to take bribes. And they had evidence. And Sally Yates, who was the Deputy Attorney General for Obama, and the Comey FBI, they would not, they told them, they didn't say don't do, they're very clever about what they did. They didn't say you can't investigate the Clintons. They said you don't have our backing. They told them in a way without saying it so they wouldn't be on the record covering up a crime. But this new revelation shows that there were FBI agents who were decent, good people who had the Clintons. And when the locker up chants were going on at the Trump rallies, there were 3 different FBI field offices with multiple investigations into the Clintons who were trying to do just that, lock her up. And Sally Yates and Obama stopped them from doing it because Obama wanted her to be the successor for whatever reason. And that's obstruction of justice. And not only is it obstruction of justice, all those crimes are very well detailed in the new files that are being declassified because they had these multiple FBI investigations going on. Yeah. It's mostly about pay for play, and a lot of it involved, it's pay for bribery, okay? It's bribery. If you made a big donation to the Clinton Foundation, the Secretary of State did something for you, and a lot of it involves foreign countries and foreign companies, and that elevates the level of crime, okay? And they've got all the evidence from all these investigations. You know, and you ask, why is all these things sitting around? If you remember, Bongino, in one of the interviews that he did, he said 2 things. He says we found a room filled with burn bags that had files in them that they didn't burn. Now I don't know exactly. I'd like to see that because I don't know how many files. I don't know how many bags. And then he said that they found a bunch of safes that had a lot of these things in them that they've been finding. Okay? So all the talk, all of our lives about the J. Edgar Hoover files, that's what this is. This is the Comey files. This were the Comey files on everybody and everything. And this is what the FBI has been using since the beginning of the FBI to blackmail people into doing their will. And those leaks that we were talking about yesterday with Comey, they were to serve 2 purposes. And this is what the file said. Comey was leaking information to hurt Trump, but at the same time improve his reputation, like he was doing great things. I don't know, but and that's why there's so many records. It's because Comey's a psychotic, power-hungry person, and he was keeping all of this information to blackmail people. There's also that factor, and the Clintons were in 2016. This is nuts. Think about this. During the height of the Trump-Hillary Clinton campaign, 3 FBI field offices had determined that the Clintons were taking bribes. That Hillary in particular, the Secretary of State, was taking bribes through Clinton Foundation donations. And these were big donations. These weren't little donations. And they have the donations, and they have what they were given in exchange for them. And they have people that didn't make donations or made small donations, they got nothing. Okay? They were, and not Bill, but Hillary, they were on the verge of charging Hillary Clinton in 2016. And Sally Yates, Barack Obama, and Comey, they stopped it. And it's all documented. The level of, I know, it's hard to, and I know a lot of people will say, and this is like, we all have our little pet peeves, but the one thing I hate is when people say, well, we knew all this. There's a difference between suspecting something and having physical evidence to prove your theories. And what we have now is the evidence that proves our theories. And I had no idea that there were multiple FBI offices trying to bring charges against Hillary Clinton and Bill, the whole Clinton Foundation. They were looking to bring charges against all of it. And they were stopped by Obama, Sally Yates, and the rest. And these people, see, a lot of these lower level people, Sally Yates is a name I haven't heard about in years. A lot of these lower level people, I'm fine with them taking the fall for Obama. If Obama has immunity, he has immunity. You get these lower level people, it will be a forever stain on, Nixon got away with whatever it is he did, but he always had that cloud over him that's even over him still today, right, in history. And these presidents, these egomaniac presidents like Clinton and Obama, all they care about is their legacy and how they're remembered, right? And you look at the stuff that's coming out with the Clintons and the Clinton Sally Yates. See, nobody cares enough about Sally Yates to cover for her. So some of these people are going to take some big hits because no one's interested in covering for them because they're not a big enough name. They're not a household name. And like I was telling you yesterday that it looks like they're trying to serve up Schiff, right? Part of that is this is it. And if they're trying to serve up Schiff and they're throwing out Sally Yates right now, that means there's division among these people.
There's major hard feelings. Mm-hmm. It's not going to hold up.
That's exactly right. No, there's division amongst the coup conspirators because they're scared. And you can see it in their faces. The next time you see Clapper and these people on television, they look terrified because they know that these indictments could already be out there and they could get that no-knock warrant at 2 a.m. or at 12:30 in the morning, like my friend called me last night, and boom, and that's it. They're going away. And they know that when they go away, they're going away because they got all the evidence. That's right. Now I want to talk about coastal weight loss secrets. Steve, I was talking earlier. I'm wearing a new belt that I got post-weight loss, and I've lost inches off my waist. And my old belt, I've added, I don't even know how many holes in it, but the new belt, or my old belt, is about to go around my body again. I've lost so much weight, it's going like around me again. It goes over my hip. And this is a belt that's for my waist size. I'm not going to tell you what my waist size is, but it's a few inches less than it used to be. And I haven't had a belt on in a while that fits perfect. And when you get new clothing, you notice the weight loss when you see yourself in the mirror. But when you start getting new clothing is when you really see it. Like, wow, I can fit in something that size. It's absolutely amazing. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. And I want to highlight my results are typical, not unusual. And if you want to lose more weight, if you want to lose 200, 300 pounds or more, or maybe you just want to lose 20 pounds, they can help you with that too. Give them a call, 561-247-6300, 561-247-6300. And remember, you don't have to starve yourself. There's no shots. A lot of people I hear take injections to lose weight. That's crazy. No prescription medications, and you can eat food you would normally eat. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. All right? Okay, well, that, tomorrow is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones. Tomorrow you can call in about any and everything you have on your mind. I haven't heard about any new drops coming out from the lawfare conspirators, but we've had about one. This week, we've had something every day. Every day we've had something this week. So I'd be a little surprised if we didn't get something new today. But I got to tell you, you really. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, tomorrow's the summit meeting in Alaska. Yeah, so we may not get it. They may not release anything because they don't want it to get lost with the summit coverage. Yeah. That's probably true. Yeah. What do you think the odds of coming away with anything from that? The summit with Putin. Yeah. Well, we only have about 30 seconds, but one of our callers pointed this out, and they're right. The reason it's in Alaska is because Putin doesn't have to fly over any other countries to get to Alaska. It's Russia to Alaska. So that tells me he's scared. He's worried that someone's going to take his plane down. So maybe he's more willing to make a deal now than he was.
I would be very pleasantly surprised. I think there are limits to technology so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. We'll be back tomorrow on Open Phone Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday. Tomorrow, guys, show prep's up to you, which is either the best show of the week or the most embarrassing show of the week. We'll find out tomorrow. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Take care.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.